Besama batachinoy, besama yemet nor, semi kades mangustiimta, fegadi besama indionech, endi hu bemedir tihun, yalaten jarachnen sitenzare, bedelachnem ikkar belen, igna yebedelnen ikkaren demenil, awada fetna matagban, kakifu adenenen fi, mengist yante antanantana, Haile Maskan Lisleale.
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architectural and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa, asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans who spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankongo and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early with the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, whose spirit and sacrifice. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon-free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We ask those Africans who went with Boukman, Dessalines, to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Let us start our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Larry Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow to all of you. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, great Gurus, receive our love, receive our desire to love you more, to attune our hearts and minds with your great presence. Om. Peace.
Speak truth to the people. To identify the enemy is to free the mind. Free the mind of the people. Speak to the mind of the people. Speak truth. Hide nothing from the masses of the people. Tell no lies. Expose lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures. Claim no easy victory. When we lose our African connection, we lose our royal connection. When we disconnect ourselves from Africa, we cease to be a world people. Without the African connection, we are a disjointed people, begging for the entry into somebody else's house.
For a poor. Behold now how greatly the people have changed. One who once did not sleep even on a box now owns a bed. Those who once owned robes now are in rags. And those who once did not weave for themselves now own fine linen. Behold, those who once did not build boats now own ships, and the former owners just look at them, for they are no longer theirs. Those who once lacked shelter now have homes, and those who had homes are in the blast of the storm. And those who knew nothing of Mother, Father, God now make offerings with the incense of others. Lo, why does Mother, Father, God seek to create men and women when the gentle are not distinguished from the violent, but brings coolness in the midst of heat? And all say, Mother, Father, God is a shepherd of all humankind, and there is no evil in the heart of God. Though the flock are few, God spends a whole day tending to them, but there is fire in their hearts. Oh, that he perceived their nature in the first generation. Then Mother, Father, God would have destroyed the wicked, stretched out their arms against them. Surely Mother, Father, God would have destroyed their seed and their legacy. I acknowledge my ancestors, the ones who came before and are still here. I acknowledge my ancestors, the celestial guardians of the great civilizations. I acknowledge my ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand. I acknowledge Harakti Ra Harakti, Amenhotep II, who first called the Great Sphinx by its two names, Harem Akhet and Harakti. Queen Tai, who dedicated a stele to the Sphinx, where she placed in the temple built by her husband near the great statue. Everything which is coming forth before Atum Harakti. I acknowledge Horus of the two horizons, Horus of the rising and the setting sun of the east and of the sunrise, reborn in the eastern skies as Harakti. I acknowledge my ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand. I acknowledge Harem Akhet Kefri Ra Atum, I acknowledge the High Priestess Tutu, wife of Ani, Tutu, the Ancestral bearer, and Hatshepsut, greatest female warrior of all times. I acknowledge my ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand. I acknowledge my ancestors who resisted and took freedom, and in their words, the words of Bookman Duty, Dessalines, Cecile Fatiman, and them, give me liberty or death. I acknowledge my ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand. To speak the names of our ancestors is to make them live again. Speak the names of your ancestors. I am African, in the words of Asajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I am African not because I was born in Africa. I am African because Africa was born in me. When a soul recovers its name, it is once again made whole. When a soul recovers its name, it is once again made whole. What is your name? And what they're doing now with the curriculum. But for me, I grew up on the poetry of Claude McKay. I think the very first poet that I can remember, and we're going far back as when you can remember anything in terms of birth, is Claude McKay. So Claude McKay was my mother's favorite poet and favorite author globally. So much happening regionally, so much happening on the island itself, that I knew immediately that I had to take this decision to open the phone lines, to make the connection with friends and family, critical thinkers and deep thinkers. Any of you who have been sending me videos upon videos upon videos of, listen, I had to have a good talk with myself, and I had to take a decision what I was going to do about the hundreds of videos that you all were sending me every single morning. And you're talking about YouTube videos. You know, if you get a TikTok video, bad or no bad, because that is like about 3 minutes, 5 minutes at the maximum. So you can say, okay, I can take some time. So I can wake up to what? I wake up every morning to about what? About 25 or so TikTok videos. And I wake up every morning to scores and scores and scores and scores of YouTube videos. So I want to thank you for keeping me updated and for pointing things out to me. But once again, me going to say, no, please, guys, I miss about video. I feel I'm obligated to respond, and that is why it became stressful for me. So because I feel I am obliged to respond. I know that I am. So please, I want to take time with the video. Do. Anyway, so thank you so much for keeping me updated. I also wake up to, scores and scores of articles, some from news sites. I thank you for keeping me updated. Also some from peer-reviewed journals. I thank you for those. For those of you who are sending me the peer-reviewed journals, you know that I'm responding, right? So I read those first, and I respond to those first. I'm looking for what the science is saying, what the scientific research is on certain topics that we're discussing. So those are the first ones I open, and it don't matter how long they are. I try to get through them in a week or so. So I'm responding over time. And then of the newspaper articles, 99.9% of the times I would have seen them already. But still send them. I don't have a problem with that. I haven't seen all of them, I'm sure. But 99.9% of the time. In other words, if you find this on a website just by clicking along, before you send it to me, just say to yourself, she would have seen this already. It is true, I would have seen it already. Because I scour every single newspaper, news outlet, news network every single morning for about 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, it is true. So I would have, yeah. I know I'm off tangent, but I just want to say, so I know how active my family is. I know how active the Running African family is. I know how active our critical thinkers and deep thinkers are in terms of getting to the information, finding the information, and then sharing the information. So we don't have time all the time to have you come and discuss the very same information that you have been sending to me. So one of the things that we're going to do this morning is to open the phone lines and to have some conversation about what's on your mind. What article did you see that you want to have a discussion about? What news information did you come across that you want to talk to us about? What do you want to share in the space? There is a PNP conference today. Do you want to talk about that? The Prime Minister now has a PhD. By the way, congratulations. I'm not quite sure if the graduation has happened yet for the Prime Minister, but this, from my understanding, is not one of the honorary ones. This is something that he studied for. I'm not quite sure if he wrote a dissertation or if it was PhD by project, because you have those which are just as credible. There's no difference between the PhD by project or the PhD by dissertation. This is my thinking on the whole thing. So, want to congratulate the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, for my understanding from what I read. I haven't listened to much discussions around it, but my understanding from what I read is that he literally, I'm not sure if he did this online. It sounded to me as if it's online. That is it's just as credible. Nothing taken away from this. But he now has a PhD. And this, I think, is a good example that he's setting. And that we'd like to have some more conversation with him around stuff like this. How others can have access to this level of education, those who have finished their masters or even, and want to go on. It is so expensive. It's very expensive without scholarships. But it is a motivator, and I think it's a good look. So I want to congratulate the Prime Minister on that. Minister of Finance, who is going to the IMF, you might want to talk about that. You might want to talk about the floods in Nigeria. You might want to talk about what's happening in Senegal or in Mali or in Burkina Faso. You might want to talk about Russia and Ukraine. You might want to talk about NATO and those long-range missiles. You might want to talk about the fact that Vladimir Putin has now said that if the United States and the UK to and provide long-range missiles to Ukraine, then that's a declaration of war. He's going to see that as NATO declaring war on Russia. There's a reason why Putin said that, as NATO has been supplying Vladimir Zelensky with weapons right throughout this war, and Putin knows that. But he's never made the statement he made in the last few days in regard to the long-range missiles. And my understanding is that he's making that statement within the context of how long-range missiles work. And I understand that it has, it's connected to satellites. This is my understanding, and this is what I hear a lot of the analysts and the deep thinkers saying, that it's because once those missiles are going to be guided missiles, and they're going to have to use satellite technology, which Ukraine doesn't have. And so they will be dependent on NATO. So NATO would be providing that technology for Russia. And so Putin has come out and he said, if you do this, that's a declaration of war. I heard Putin say that, and I went again and I looked at the distance between the United States and Russia. And if you think about it in abstract terms, you're going to say, oh, but Russia is all the way over there, and Russia is so far from the United States, and so much would have to happen. Well, Putin has already sent warships in some of those waters. The Bering Strait, watch the Bering Strait, watch the Bering Sea, because the Bering Strait is 53 miles. It's 53 miles between America and Russia. Just look at Alaska. Go up atop and look at Alaska. You're forgetting that Alaska is a state of the United States. And so Alaska borders, just separated by one little strip of water, 53 miles long, the Bering Strait. When the Bering Strait was frozen over, that is how the migration happened. Remember, for those of you who can remember your quick little history. So America is just 2 minutes away from Russia, across the Bering Strait. Look at it again. Take out your map or type in the Bering Strait and Alaska on the map. Russia and Alaska on the map. Or type in the Bering Strait and the Bering Sea. So anyway, if you want to talk about that, then that's fine. If you want to talk about what's happening continentally, because there's a lot happening continentally in terms of this boom that we're seeing, well, at least this renewed relationship between China and Africa in terms of the bilateral relations between China and individual countries on the continent of Africa. That is also a massive, that just got a massive boost, a massive upgrade. Want to talk about that, then that's fine. And where will it? Okay, so if you want to talk about what's happening in the region, Venezuela, you're going to carry some things to a space too, right? And then if you just want to talk tribal politics, then this is another place for it. But if you want to talk tribal politics, this is another place for it. But if you want to talk about tribes, ethnicity, and tribe and tribal knowledge, Bantu and Igbo and Yoruba and so on and so forth. You understand what I say? Then this is the place for it too. So I'm going to be depending on you this morning to bring the news and to bring the discussions and to bring the critical analysis and to bring the deep thinking to the space. So when we come back from this break, we're going to be opening the phone lines. The numbers to call, as you know, 618-618-0352. 876-974-5079, 974-5051, 974-5043, or 1-888-991-4152. We're opening the phone lines right after this break to take your detailed and your deep discussions and conversations. All right? It's also later on in the program, we're going to make a quick link with our brother Jerry Small to speak about one of our own family members, because we're talking about family members. Ira FM family member hasn't been a family member in terms of coming into the studio and having discussions on air for a while, but one of the foundation family members, Garth White. Garth White has transcended. He died, and we want to have a conversation with Jerry Small, who is a family member by marriage also to Garth White. Garth White was one of the first analysts and resource persons that we had here on our entertainment shows. And so he was a recurring guest on Musically Speaking, on the Entertainment Buzz, for Music News, and for any other discussions around music. Garth White is a musicologist. He's a deep thinker, and one of the persons who was, for us in the early days of Ira FM, I'm telling you, the very early days, who guided our thinking on how to analyze what was happening within the entertainment industry critically. And he was critical and really a very important person to any discourse on this station regarding entertainment. And sometimes even outside of entertainment, we would call Garth White for his views. And he wasn't always on air. That's the thing. Sometimes we just take up the phone and call him to say, Garth, this is happening. What do you think about so-and-so? And he would tell you right up, say, okay, so take you to the history of it, take you to the politics of it, take you to the socioeconomic elements of it, and really packaged it for you. And once again, I said, so he was that person who guided our thinking in the early days. Remember, we were very young people, coming out of church, a lot of us. So, who were ready, and we were just bursting at the chopping at the bits to be the best that we could be. But he was that sobering voice who would say to us, so this is how you do it. So thank you so much, Mr. Garth White, for all of this. Really, really appreciate the input that Garth White put into IRFM. All right, I want to come back and talk a little more about that. But on the other side, we're going to be opening the phone lines and have your input in the discussions this morning. Thank you so much. I was distracted for a moment. Yes, good to see you the other day.
What has happened to Abraham? I'm a sad person, man.
No, say that again.
I said I am sad because what has happened to the country, Africa, where Abraham Traore is. They're the killer of some people there. Because when one of us die, you know. Here,
what specifically are you talking about?
I'm talking about in oh God, Imam terrorist.
Yes, you're saying, what did he do?
He's the one who is reforming. I'll slip in my head. Anyway, he's reforming.
Burkina, you're talking about Burkina Faso. What? I'm not quite getting what you said.
They had you know, he was preparing his people for insurgent because he was aware that it was coming in, right? And then he was preparing the people to dig out some trenches so they can go in there.
Oh, okay. This happened back in August. In August.
They kill off some people.
Yes,
there.
Okay. All right, I'm just getting the point.
About that, you know?
Yes,
because
yes.
It's like a boy, I'm so proud that I feel like I just lift him up and put him on my head and carry him anywhere I go.
Yes, and just so our family know what you're talking about, for those who don't, in August there was an attack in Burkina Faso on villagers, and more than 200 people were found after that attack, and they said that the attack was linked to Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
All right.
And that he's fling out America and fling out
France.
France. And we need to do that everywhere we go.
Right, you are. All right. Anything else you wanted to discuss?
Yeah. In Jamaica, this morning I was listening to some students on BBC about China, and one of the students there were talking about they didn't know why they had to do study English, you know, because they are Chinese and they were forcing it on them and so forth. And I'm saying, in this country, not even Swahili is being taught to our people. We don't know anything about the history of our people. We don't know anything about our words. If you use them, they tell you a curse bad words. And these kind of things. We don't know anything about ourselves, and our children hardly know anything about ourselves. And this is not taught. We don't know anything about our history at all.
Okay, I get the point you're making. So you're saying, I've said that many times in this space here, that what a difference it would make if we understood it goes to language, first of all, and reclaiming our tongue, but also part of it is geography, because there are places that exist on the continent of Africa that carry the names, and these are ancient names, of some of the very words that here in Jamaica we say there are bad words, and if you taught them on stage, say for example performing as an artist, that you will be arrested or you'll be charged. So I get the point you're making. Once we know and once we begin to understand our language, let's reclaim our tongue. Memory is in the language. Culture is in the language. Values are embedded in the language. And so this is why it's important for us to at least know one of the Bantu languages.
All right, finally, I wrote a song that is sung by Jesus said, who is my husband. All men are equal in the sight of God. And I tell you, I took it to some other radio station and I threw it in the rubbish.
Really?
But that song encouraged our youths and children to realize that all of them equal. We would not have gunfights in this country or anybody going around killing them one another because of what is happening now. If that song was playing everywhere, our children would realize that all of us are equal because we all breathe in the same air and we all got silent. So that makes us equal.
The song, yes. We have to go beyond the songs and the poems and the writings. I think there's a need to instill. And I'm not saying that the song will make a difference. Yes, I think music makes a big difference in spaces, especially when people are young. I talk about Claude McKay and what he means to me because of my own parents at an early age inculcating that within me. So yes, I'm not belittling that at all, but to say that something has changed with our values. And there's a value system depreciation and devaluation that is going on here that is continuous. And until we can pull that back, and return to the values. Our values cannot just be steeped in European Christianity, because this is what we have over the last 3 decades, or probably 4 decades. This has, 3 at least, has now taken over our schools, for example, our schools' devotions. Remember, and we always talk about the good old time, and it's not that the times were good, it's that values were different. So that the values that were inculcated into us when we were at devotions, when we were going to high school and primary school and so on, is that we have to put our hand over our heart and say the pledge, and then we have to sing the national anthem, and we have to understand it too and behave like it. And then we also now understood a little bit more about what it meant to be Jamaican. I'm saying that, and I know that a lot of people go and question me on that, but my thinking on that has to do with what was embedded into that pledge before God and all mankind, and so what was embedded into the pledge, and how we view culture, how we view Miss Lou, how we viewed same Claude McKay, and how we interacted with each other. So the different level of interaction there. But along the way, we have lost that, and right now with our values are steeped in Europeanized Christianity and Americanized consumerism.
But we have to tear it down. And I am working on that part of it. That was one of the songs that I put out.
Yes.
And another song that and the church get at me, I tell you, they nearly tear me to pieces. All the song that says, I am black, I am strong, I can shine like gold. I am sweet, I am nice, and so are you. Like a child, like a star, I can twinkle like a bird, I can sing, and so I live and learn and glitter like gold.
Yes, I love that for kindergarten. I love that for kindergarten.
For kindergarten.
Yes, for infant school. If we could get that in an infant school, you know.
I'm working on that part of it.
Yes. Thank you so much, my sister.
Children realize that they're black and they might follow the earth because there was nothing but gold in Eden when the pair of black people were there. Nothing was, the only thing was there is gold. So we are the gold of the earth.
Right, we have to get rid of them fantasy that about that creation fantasy. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, my sister.
Love you, remember.
Yeah, love you too.
And women have to come together on here.
Thank you so much, my sister. Listen, hang up the phone. All right, okay.
To you and our radio audience,
Yes. Where are you calling from?
Portland.
All right, welcome.
Yes, I give thanks now to the freedom where at the press where we can express and voice our opinion, Now, tell the news over there with the Pope at Rome there. I tell people in America, say, they must choose, when they go vote, they must choose from the lesser out of the two of them.
The lesser of two evils. But did you hear how he defined those two evils, though? On the one hand, he says you have those who are fighting against immigrants and immigration, and then on the other hand, those who are killing babies. This is how he put it. And then he says, well, it's two evils, so you have to choose between one. He should not have gotten involved. This is my thinking on it.
And when you take a step now, in reality, at this country, spread mustard gas pan way in Africa, trying to cut us off from being a proud black independent continent. No, so? Now them throw mustard gas pan way.
You're talking about the Italians?
Yeah, so the whole of them are evil in this judgment. Yeah?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, here is Rome. Here is Rome. I mean, he needs to go clean out his closet. And I'm not, there's just so much that the Roman Empire did and the Roman Catholic Church did that at some point the Pope and all of them have to take them nose out of other people's business and deal with the stench that's coming from the Vatican.
So, when I say differently, right now when I take a stock in Jamaica here, we are Prime Minister Andrew Holness from Bloomberg Television. I say, Jamaica is America's backyard. And him say, he will always support America.
Yeah.
Now, this is a man of African ancestry, Andrew Holness, put it that way. And he will lead a country with a black population. And him say, he will always support America. What kind of wicked statement that you make? Yeah? Because you're the Pope said that is a evil, say them are evil, and we know that.
Evil on both sides.
All the atrocities with them done unto us as black people on the continent and here in Jamaica.
Well, part of that has to do with making that public pronouncement, has to do with the fact that they have already sold Jamaica, lock, stock, and barrel, and the people of Jamaica, many of the people of Jamaica who have not yet awoken to the reality that they have also been sold to the American system. And so it is what it is.
This history.
The Americans, well, yeah, because
Jamaica is controlled. Jamaica is a democracy, constitutional monarchy system of government. King Charles III. And they are members of the Organization of American States from 1963. You know what? So when I say then sell out the country, we as black people, plantation, Jamaica with the pan, Jamaica no free. You know see, are these nations and country controlled down here. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said America continue to enjoy Jamaica resources. He never say black people, He never say we black people,
Yes.
In
other words, they are not hiding anything from us. So we are the ones who are pretending that we're not hearing what they're saying.
So we need to take a stock of ourselves as black people and stand in the strength and pride of an African sovereignty, a black sovereignty of ourselves. The man said we must lift high these banners, the red, black, and green, and the red, gold, and green banner, for the future, with the black 5-point star representing us as a people, see?
Yes.
And the R symbol represent a righteous movement, the R kingdom, And the lion symbol represent Ethiopia, a crown, a throne room of our own,
Yes.
So we have everything where we want. All we need to do is turn to our black consciousness of ourselves, black pride, black empowerment.
And stand in that truth. Standing the truth that we are manifesting.
Because these two political parties here in Jamaica are them divide us, and don't want us to unite as a black sovereign nation, kingdom of people.
A most egregious act. Yes. Thank you so much, my brother. On the Prime Minister, So I because I said this off the top of my head, right? I was talking about some of the issues that you might want to raise in the space, and one of the things I mentioned was the Prime Minister's PhD. I meant that seriously, and congratulations are in order for the Prime Minister. He's earned that doctorate degree. It's in law and policy, so I've just checked on it. It's law and policy, and he pursued those studies at Northeastern University in Boston, and I understand that he's to graduate next year, June, and that he is also the first Jamaican Prime Minister to earn a doctorate while in office. So he's completed his thesis. So he did a thesis. It wasn't by a project. It was a thesis that we understand that he did on the impact of U.S. gun laws on violence in Jamaican society. I would like to discuss that thesis with the Prime Minister. And we certainly hope that his brilliance and his ambition and his success will inspire the youth of Jamaica, especially our boys, to abandon their culture of dunceness and hopelessness. When the young men in Jamaica were talking about fully dunce, the Prime Minister should have come out and say, I am now sitting my PhD, because he obviously was writing in PhD when the young boys in Jamaica were running crazy with this fully dunce talk, when the dunce bags and all of those were being sold in the markets and so on. So, I mean, it is brilliant. I have no issue with it. I just nothing negative to say on this, but to say, congratulations to the Prime Minister. And once again, that this is something that the teachers can say to the young boys in school. You're talking about Andrew Holness and about where you get a Clarkson from Daddy and all them, something there. So while Andrew Holness is tapping into the subculture, which is keeping our young boys in dunceness, he's doing his PhD, writing a thesis entitled, what was it again? The impact of U.S. gun laws on violence in the Jamaican society. This is... Anyway, let me take a quick break. So congratulations to the Prime Minister. 6:59 and 30 seconds. Let me go to the phone lines. Hotep, greetings. Hello? Are you there? Greetings. Hello? I know you're there. I'm hearing you. So, greetings. You're on air. Are you hearing me? Yes, it's you. Turn your radio off. I'm very patient this morning, and because you were holding for a while, you're on air, you're live on air. Turn your radio off. Hello? Yeah, that's you. Hello? Hello? No. All right. So let me hang that up. Right. So go ahead. I'm going to disconnect this and you send me what you have. Okay, so we are taking your telephone calls. Let me go back to the phone lines. Hotep, greetings. This can't be me. No, not quite sure what's happening here. No, I'm not hearing this one at all. Hello? Okay.
Is a trick to control the black race, because there's two systems, politics and religion, and what they're meant to be is to divide the people so they can rule the people.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Yes, so the divide and rule system, it doesn't exist only in politics. It's a religion as well. If you notice, all those religions, are coming down from the European system.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what denomination. The only true religion outside of that is Rastafarian. And the Africans never used to worship like that in early time.
And Rastafari, I will tell you that it's not a religion, it's a liberty.
Well, that's true. But let me tell you something, my sister.
Yes.
Time is of an essence, and time is winding down.
Mm-hmm.
When you see Pope Francis making these statements, it's not what he would want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but he is forced to do that by nature and the will of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Why?
see Donald Trump...
Why you said that?
Because there's a lot of things that he's been doing from this Pope coming. He's been exposing the system.
You think so?
Yes.
It's smoke and my brother, it's smoke and mirrors. This is, of all the popes, this is the one that has come out to distract us. Wherever this pope is pointing is not where we should be looking.
Well, definitely not. There is nothing that the Pope comes to tell us that we should be looking.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying, some of the things that he might be doing, if you are smart enough, it will open the people's eyes.
He must talk about reparations and proper reparations. Why not come out publicly and talk about, spend a good half an hour talking about reparations, but not just talk, and then to say this is what he's going to do, this is what the Catholic Church is going to do, this is what Rome is going to do, and this is what we need to do in terms of them. He's pointing in one direction, but it's just smoke and mirrors. It's 3-card game I'm playing.
Okay, well, you know what I can't understand?
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand for the life of me that the God that they are teaching us to praise is supposed to be a merciful God, a loving God, and yet this is the religion that they practice to us.
Mm-hmm.
We should live in fear of the Most High. How can you live in fear? When I'm in fear of somebody is a dangerous person, So I wouldn't want to live in fear of my maker. It's come to them with that creation story, because we now know that all that creation stories are built up just to for us to last our way. But the reality is that is one system that's set up to deceive the people around the world.
So there's not. Sorry to interrupt, but there's not only one creation story. There are many creation stories.
Many
the one that is told more than anyone is the one that is in the tool that King. I'm not quite sure what's happening in your background, but that King James.
Maybe you're hearing my fowls crowing or making noise in the morning. That's what that means. Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
I have them all over the place.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's good to hear the sound of children in the morning. So, yes, my brother, you're making a point. You're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the converted.
I know. But just
and for those who are listening, for those who are listening now, I know it's an ongoing discussion. I know it's an ongoing conversation, and I know that it is also one of those conversations that can become vitriolic. But at some point, we're going to have to sit down and talk about our Africanness and talk about our own reality. It's those of our ancestors who were enslaved, why they were enslaved, how they were enslaved. Those who came as abolitionists and who came with the Bible and colonization, and then where that has taken us, has brought us over the many moons, emancipation and so-called independence and so on, and that promise has not fulfilled. And what are we going to do with religion in all of this? Because as long as we continue to rely so heavily on the Europeanized Christianity, then we are already defeated. Dr. Ben says that if your God and your Savior look like your master and your enslaver, then you become the principal agent in your own destruction.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, but I just still want to just drive that line to encourage the people. You see what is happening now with the food? Mm-hmm. What is happening now with food? My God. And, I've been preaching it since I can remember when I came to Money first. Mm-hmm. I came to Money to live in 2005.
Yes.
And I had a group of farmers I was trying to talk to and encourage them to change the practice and to practice sustainability of your food, because there's going to be a day when you can't get food. Mm-hmm. My God, when I look and see what is happening here now, I just wonder.
What is that? What's happening now?
Well, there's actually a shortage of food, and I hear the farmers now complaining of a shortage of seeds. Now, when do we get to that point where we have to be relying on somebody in Europe to provide seeds for us to get food? Nature was not designed that way. Nature does not design that way. We used to plant our corn, and then we continue to plant our corn and continue to plant our corn. Now they come with a system where you have to buy the corn from them in order to eat corn. Well, sad for them. I'm not one of those, because
I hope and wish that so many more of us can say, as you're saying this morning, sad for them, but I'm not going to depend on that. If many more of us can say that in Jamaica, then we're good. We're good.
One of the sad things, my sister, is that when you try to teach the people, a few of them will not listen, and if they listen, they don't learn. Because it is so easy for us to provide for ourselves and share what we have with others. I left my number for you, that because
I didn't get it, I didn't get it. No.
Well, I'm going to give it back to the producer when I finish.
Yes.
Because I would love to come and spend some time just to see how much, because I know there's not enough time when I call the program. But I would love to come spend some time so that we can let me do what I'm supposed to do, because I'm not one of those persons who want to die with the things that I know I should teach.
As I told you the last time you called, my brother, and I'm glad you're reminding us. Go ahead, leave your number for me. I will, as I'm going through the door, I'll take that number. As a matter of fact, as soon as you leave that number, I'll ensure that I get it. And then I'll talk to you off air. I said to you before, I wanted to invite you into the studio to have these discussions, because there's so much more there. So let us have that conversation and then see how we can arrange that. But thank you so much.
Okay, my sister.
All right. 9 minutes after 7 o'clock, you're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running Africa. Another thing we're seeing here in Jamaica, is we are bearing witness to a ritual of death order in Jamaica. Since the 1st of September 2024 until yesterday, the 14th of September 2024, there has been 14 road fatalities, 14 lives tragically lost due to motor vehicle accidents. We are also bearing witness to all kinds of water deaths, and we have borne witness to 2 cases of women swept away in strong water currents, men jumping in to rescue them. One woman was saved, and to the man who lost his life, our deepest condolences to the family. So traumatic. And the second unfortunate one, we saw a man died and the second is missing. Our deepest condolences to the families, to the friends, to the communities who must be undergoing immense grief and trauma at the moment. We're also seeing a number of vehicles on the roads, that those numbers have greatly increased. And this, for me, we have had many discussions about this. In many cases, the roads are treacherous due to potholes or sudden changes in the road weather conditions. We have a pothole up here in St. Anne by Draxhall, and those who have passed that know. The other day when the Prime Minister and all of them came down, I think it was the nomination day. Nomination day, someone has gone and put a vase, a flower pot with a flower in that deep crater, which is not even a pothole, a deep crater. Somebody put a flower pot inside there with a flower, and people driving around it like it is in the roundabout. It is just behind the roundabout. People are driving around it as if it's the roundabout. And the other day, many people witnessed and have said to me, the candidate who's running here for Shahini's seat, Matthew Samuda, and all those who were with him, all those who came in, the big dignitaries who came in from Kingston, they all drove around that massive pothole as if it was a floor, as if it was a roundabout. I don't know if them fixed it since that, but it's a crater, and it's phenomenal. This is the main road from town Ocherias to town Runaway Bay, St. Anne's Bay, Discovery Bay, and so on. And at the roundabout of people coming in from Kingston, just in that vicinity. And there is this massive, massive crater somebody put a flower pot in. And these people who are running to represent the people driving around it like it is a roundabout. So we're seeing that. But just to say quickly, let us continue to apply caution. Please cut the speeding, the unnecessary overtaking. And if you can, just be courteous to each other on the roads. The sister who called earlier, the first sister who called, she talked about understanding ourselves as being, equal, knowing who we are as brothers and sisters and so on. If we begin there, understanding ourselves as belonging, even if we not say to one family, make we say, all right, so all the way Jamaican, so understand ourselves within that context and be courteous to each other on the road. It turned bad on the road. 13 after 7. We'll take a break shortly, but let me go to the phone lines. Greetings.
Hi, Kabu.
Hey.
Greetings to you.
VS?
Yes. Green here.
Hold on.
Greeting you and everybody.
Hold on, Vereen. Because it means I have to take the break and come back to you now because I can't. So hang on. Let me take the break.
Okay.
Calling in online. I just saw, a lot of Facebook and social media posts that you were traveling through the Ottoman Empire.
Well, you see, as you know, yes. I have finally left UWI.
No, so, I don't know that.
Yes. So I
know you were going, but I didn't know. Okay, so you're finally left now. Finally.
Okay. So I said I need a break, and the historian in me said, well,
yes.
Why not go to some of the places you have studied in history, so that's what I did. But back now and looking at my diary to see what I'm supposed to do, because leaving UWI doesn't mean that people are not still calling on me to overseas to give talks and so on. So
I can imagine, but
I'm going to get back into that mode. You know,
I've known you for a while. I think that was your first vacation.
I think you're right.
Yes.
And it felt really good. But, you know, I have come back and it is a few things on my mind. First of all, I want to join you in congratulating the Prime Minister on gaining his PhD.
Yes.
And I also join you in saying that this is an example to young men.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with education, with studying, with gaining degrees and, you know, making a difference to other young people.
Yes.
So I want to join you in that.
Yes.
But this is also the start of the school year. Well, I know it started for a little while, but I continue to be concerned about the syllabus, as you know.
Yes.
And I heard you and one of your callers talking about the lack of history and the knowledge of our past. And I want to reinforce and I want to appeal to the teachers and the educators and those who are organizing the various curricula in the various institutions to understand that a lot of what is going on in our country today is attributable to the lack of knowledge about the historical past. And having come back from places where history is taken so seriously, and how even outside of the schools, the countries are making money from heritage tourism. I want to encourage us to study history, but also to use history for economic advancement.
You know, Verena, I just a minute, because I hear you, and I want to underscore that point that you just made, which is that a lot of what is happening in our society can be traced right back to a lack of knowledge of our historical past. I think how critical this is, and for us to, and this is, I think, I'm not quite sure if we're able to permeate it. You've been saying it for a long time. The political, the political spaces that influence how the curriculum is set up and so on. I'm not quite sure if that's where the issue is, because it seems to me as if many in academia, like yourself, are already of that opinion. And
yes, and we have been talking about it for ages, but it has to, the decision has to be taken by the various ministries of education across the region, because it's not only in Jamaica where this is a problem. And then they have to give instructions to the schools. And, you know, I'm not saying that they have to write an exam in history, even though it would be good to do so, because if they have history as a subject, then when they go to university, they can major or minor in history. But what is happening now is that we don't have the policy at the highest level. It is not filtering down to the various ministries, to the schools, and at CXC level. So something has to be done, because, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I think that the lack of knowledge of our past serves some people's interest, because people can just go around as if they have no past, you know, and I think it's affecting our societies negatively. But the other issue in terms of schooling, as I drive around, I have to shake my head. Why is it that we're imposing our own conservatism on our children? Look at the length of the skirts of the girls. That one uniform, the cloth that makes one uniform in some of the schools could make two. And I'm appealing to the teachers to stop imposing their conservatism on the children. Kabu, when we went to school, the skirt was at our knee.
I know, my aunties were wearing mini skirts to school, so you can. And
in fact, I look back at a photo of my uniform at St. Mary High School. I think mine was above my knee.
Yes.
It was above our knees, and nothing happened to us.
What's the reason for it, though? What's the reasoning they're giving? Because the first time I saw this is more in Kingston than anywhere else, and I'm not quite because where I see this.
Well, I haven't gone out to the rural areas to look, but all around Kingston.
Yes.
Even the prep schools. The uniforms are done by the way down.
It's a culture shock. It's a culture shock for me. The first time I saw it, it was a proper culture shock for me. I couldn't understand it, and I still cannot understand what is the reasoning.
It is not going to it is not going to solve the issue of gender-based violence or molesting of girls. That is not the solution. And I really feel, and this dress code issue that we have, you go to every school, the schools I've seen schools, hospitals, clinics, with this thing at the front of the school, you know, some regulations put up about how you can go in there, how you can't go in there.
Yes,
it is just, I mean, it drives me absolutely crazy.
But for those who are listening to you and saying, but you know, well, with this because they've bought into this thing of, all right, so this is response to gender-based violence.
It is not going to stop what they want to stop. Educate the children. Educate the children. And then they will understand. Have, you know, the kind of gender-based knowledge. Give them that in the schools. And then the other thing is, you know, I heard you talking about, you and one of the callers, about multilingualism. There is nothing wrong with learning several languages. Yes. We must learn the Jamaican language. We must do English. We must do Spanish and French if we can. And the reason is that having, you know, I'm on the international stage at the United Nations, and I've seen the applications for internships and so on. And a lot of people from our region are being excluded because we don't know the languages of the United Nations. And I'm not saying that, you know, if you don't have that ambition, anything is wrong with it.
Yes.
I'm just saying there are opportunities out there, and we have neighbors in our own region. And I think we had said that Spanish should be our second language. I don't know if that's being taken seriously in the education institution.
No.
But I'm just making a plug for that.
Yes. And also African languages, because right now we have
yes.
China, what China is doing now, you know, is that they're teaching, and you probably know this, VS, almost all the Bantu languages are being taught in China's universities.
The only problem with that is that I don't like some of the reasons why, because I've watched films with you know, China
I know,
and Africa.
and this is why exactly I agree with you. I don't like any of the reasons why, because it's a settler colonialism reason that's behind it.
That's right.
But this is how China has gone out ahead of us again. Here we have another colonizer who's gone out ahead of us while we. So yeah,
but also what I noticed even in at the United Nations, people from South Korea, people from Japan, people from China, they speak English, and some of them speak Spanish and French. So they are not allowing themselves to be excluded from the international stage. And I'm saying to our people, there is nothing wrong with it. You can't just elevate parochialism and say that's that.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And the other issue that I read, two more issues quickly. So I have been watching the what's happening with politicians who have to give up dual citizenship, right? And I'm saying to myself, welcome to the club in terms of the pain of applying for visas. I hope it will apply to them too.
Yeah,
but the countries that they have to stop just entering, while the rest of us have to suffer the indignity of going through the visa process. And then maybe, or hopefully, it will force our country to have some pride and to impose reciprocity in visa. Let the other people go through what we go through and charge them.
Yes.
I see in the UK now that some of the people in the UK will have to pay for visas. It's not a lot of money, but they are still complaining.
Yes.
To go to the EU because of Brexit, right?
Yes.
And I said to myself, yes. So you will find out what we have to go through with Schengen visa and all these visas.
Yes.
And Kabu is not only the process that is so intrusive and so long and complicated, but it's demeaning, exactly.
Yes.
And even when you get the visa at the borders, the way Jamaicans or black people are profiled still in this 21st century. You know, I said, I have friends who say, you know something, I'm packing up my passport without going nowhere to suffer the indignity. But some of us have to still, you know, engage in the international space. And I'm appealing to my countrymen, have some pride, man. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. I agree with you 100%. Well, in terms of the country of it and reciprocity, you know, I was a voice out there the other day saying, with the riots, the race riots that took place in Britain last month, and so many countries came out immediately to warn their citizens against traveling, or if you're traveling to the UK, what to look out for and so on. And up to this minute, Jamaica hasn't done that. And yet Jamaicans are being violently attacked in Britain just the same. Jamaicans are afraid to take the tube, to take the train. I mean, I have a nephew now he's going to school in Leicester and in university, and he doesn't even want to go anymore because he's so afraid.
Yes, it's the anti-immigrant sentiment that's sweeping across the north. You know,
racism, it's racism,
and it's racism, and you know. Recently, the United Kingdom came before the Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination.
Yes.
And there was a large group of NGOs who came to advise or to inform the committee about what's going on in the UK. But I must say that there were so many troubling aspects of the interactive dialogue. But when the concluding observations come out, we can discuss that. I can't discuss it now.
I would be very, very, very interested in having that discussion.
I will let you know when the concluding observations come out, then we can talk about it because it's really troubling. But finally, I want to appeal to the teachers of tertiary institutions and secondary institutions where that goes on, the principals, the presidents, the student bodies of tertiary institutions to stop this backward practice called ragging. I have been hearing too many complaints of the intrusive and demeaning ways in which new students are being treated.
That is still happening?
It is. I was shocked to hear that it's still happening. And I've had complaints. And this goes back to kind of the English public school and their practices.
Yes.
And we must stop it. It is having emotional and physical impact on some of the students. I cannot call names, but complaints have come to me.
This is how,
and I want to use my voice to say to the principals and to those who are perpetuating this practice, old-fashioned practice. I hear it still goes on at UWI and teachers' colleges and so on. And I know they attempted to do that with me, and I tell them where to get off when I went to university, okay?
Wow.
I would not submit myself to it.
You know, I'm going to have to pay some attention, Verena, to this, because I did not know that this was...
It.
Yes.
Everybody I mentioned this to, like other media house, they say that is still going on.
Yes.
And I'm saying that I'm not going to drop this issue because the complaints that have come to me are kind of troubling. I don't want to call names. I don't want to, but if I hear any more of this thing, I'm going to start writing about it, calling the principals, and making a bigger deal of this. But I want to raise it here because school has started, and the ragging is going on. A friend of mine told me it even went on at some high schools, boarding schools. You know,
this is serious. I had no idea this was still going on. But
yes, I want to raise it.
It's a very, very dangerous practice. You know.
Yes, and I want to say to parents, pay attention to what's happening to your children in these institutions and take a stand against it. I have to say I took a stand against it when I went to university as a fresh, what they call it, a freshette.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them where to get off and leave me alone. Okay? So students can say, some of them are afraid, you know.
Yes.
They're afraid of reprisal.
Yes.
They're afraid that they'll not be in friendship groups.
Yes.
But listen to me. You know, I'm a historian, as I always say. If our ancestors had just quietly said, let me go along with it, where would we be?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Jamaica.
You know,
do
because
better.
there's something that I've taken up in this space, right, which is bullying in schools. And I
Yes.
think this falls right into the bullying
It
category.
is bullying.
Yes.
It is bullying. And we must stop it. And if I hear anything more about it, I'm going to go to the particular institution. Right?
All right.
I just wanted to raise those issues.
Yeah,
okay?
thank you so much, VS. And we'll follow all of them, actually.
Yes.
Thank you so much, my sister.
All right.
All
Okay.
right. Professor Vereen Shepherd, thank you so much for calling in. Author died recently. The Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Babsy Grange, has said that she's deeply saddened by the passing of Garth White, musicologist and author. Minister Grange said Mr. White was like an encyclopedia that I could always consult on matters related to Jamaican music. He was so knowledgeable. She said, I'm really sad by this news. The nation has lost an outstanding son whose knowledge and passion for our music was unparalleled. I really miss him, said Minister Grange. And Garth White served, as she said in her statement also, as a researcher at the African-Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, Jamaica Memory Bank, part of the Institute of Jamaica, which is an agency of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. He also served on the Reggae Gold Awards Committee, which selected the first 50 Reggae Gold awardees. In recognition of his writings on Jamaican music, Minister Grange awarded him the Reggae Gold Media Award. His publications include the development of Jamaican popular music with special reference to the music of Bob Marley, Bibliography, 1982, and traditional musical practice in Jamaica and its influences on the birth of modern Jamaican popular music, 1982. Garth White passed away on Wednesday, September 4. Wanted to speak quickly to Jerry Small a little bit about who Garth White was. For Jerry Small, he was also a member of his family. Garth White, we considered a member of the IRFM family here at IRFM also. So we're working on that. You will speak with him in a minute.
Yes, Andrew Carboy.
Yeah, man. My condolences to you and to the family on the passing of Garth. What a brother. What a man. What a brother.
Yes, ma'am. He had the best popular record collection of Jamaican music in the world.
Wow.
But it was vandalized, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I said earlier that you are related to Garth White. He's a family member.
Yes, his sister, Sandra, is my wife, and we have 6 children, and all of them was taken very good care of by him, all of those children. Because when me and Sandra busy, when Sandra abroad, because during the 60s, she would just spend half our time in America and half in Jamaica. And frequently, or even when Jamaica was busy, sometimes, most time we would leave them at the family home, and he was there. He was the head of the household, especially after 1989, when his grandmother was an institution in the Trenchtown area, between Trenchtown and Kencut, when she died. He was the head of the family and the host of the home. I met him when I was... Pardon me?
Yes, go ahead.
I met him when I was 8 years old, when I started to go to St. Luke's Church, because my family moved to the Hope Road area, so it was easier to go to one bus to St. Luke's. I was a 8-year-old, he was a 9-year-old, born exactly 1 year before me.
Wow.
Man, Tommy Cowan used to come through the back gate of St. Luke's over a little bridge, a little gate coming from the Russell Road area. And at Sunday school, 8, 9, 10-year-old youths, they spend most time chatting, and sometimes you might hold back some of the collection to buy some little guava cheese or some little treat for yourself, but always discussing things from that age. But it was always understated, and it was very popular from very youth because I'm kind of mild man and understated, but not easy not to crack anyway. But
yes. Let me just contextualize Garth White for our listeners who have been listening to IRFM from the 1990s and can recognize the name and saying, yeah, but I know Garth. So in 1990, just about when we were developing under Clyde McKenzie as a general manager, the programming of IRFM, one of the programs that came out of consultations and meetings and so on was the need to do an entertainment call-in and talk show. Just a deep analysis program on entertainment issues. It was called Musically Speaking, hosted by Clyde Mackenzie Bigay. And the recurring resource person on that program was Garth White. And I know I met Garth White through Clyde Mackenzie, who introduced him to us here. Because he came down to Irie. He was in the studio with Garth and Bigay, with Clyde and Bigay. And he was an integral part of that program, Musically Speaking. In fact, the program that's on now on Wednesday nights called Entertainment Buzz, that came out of Musically Speaking. So to show you how long that program has been running, it's the very same trajectory. We just change the name and change the format according to how people change. So Garth White was a person who was on in studio with Clyde, with Bigay, and he was the deep resource analysis, deep thinker person on those programs. He didn't just work on Musically Speaking, but he also worked on music news, and he worked on any other program that was entertainment based or history based that touched on entertainment and Jamaican culture. So he was integral. The developing years of Irie FM, 1990 all the way down, and even after Clyde Mackenzie left Irie FM, then he became the main resource person to me. So I was in charge of the programming here, and I would call him. I was also hosting program, and I was always on the phone with him. And I remember at one point that there was a point when he got really disillusioned with Irie FM because he felt that we could do more entertainment research-wise, and that we weren't doing as much as we should. And he told me that clearly. So he was that kind of person who did not hold back on how he was feeling about anything to do with anything. He would tell you the truth either way. So he was always honest. So this is a Garth White that we're contextualizing who was passed. You talk about, Jerry, your friendship for so many years. So it was almost for you then that almost a done deal that you were going to marry his sister.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. She was a very popular young lady because of her hairstyling and from she was a very young teenager.
Yeah.
And me and Gaza moved together, but I was the last person in a tight circle of about 6 or 8 of us.
Yes.
Who even get to know her, to meet her, because everybody know her, but I am a man where, well, I was a boy at the time, but I know myself. Anyway, long story short is that he was a footballer. You know, one of them youth who exposed to football before he reached high school. Plenty youth don't expose to football before them reach high school. I'm no cricket and certain other things, but he was exposed to football. I'm living here in Jamaica, a very vibrant cultural part of Kingston. Mm-hmm. Right on between Trenchtown, right at the top of Trenchtown where the tank is. That's near where his home was. Mm-hmm. Between Trenchtown and Kencut, that area there where you call Lincoln Road and those areas, the Greenwich Crescent. Mm-hmm. Very famous dance hall was right there. I'm always hearing great music from the jukebox, the bar, and the dance hall named Live Wire.
Yes.
And so I'm very familiar with the music and them. I was a very good dancer and so on. And
well, how did he? Because he could have gone in all directions.
Yes.
Where did he hone that interest in Jamaican music and culture to the extent that, I mean, he was a musicologist.
Well, he was a music lover. Mm-hmm. He was a self-taught keyboard player, you know, stealing into the chapel at Jamaica College and using the new electric organ and the piano in other rooms. He was a self-taught keyboard player. He was a trained drummer from the cadet corps, but he became also a jazz and pop music drummer, very adept in the style of, especially nibs of the scatterlights and so on. There's some of us from before teenage days being following the music very well, and we moved together very close. And that was one of the things that we used to break down the tribalism between the schools. Because a terrible tribalism between the high school, worse than the tribalism between the two political parties. And between the music and the Rastafari principles, that was the main thing that broke down tribalism between the schools in the 60s. Anyway, that was one of them pioneers.
Yes.
And when I was a teenager, he was an editor of Jamaica College School magazine. Was a very eloquent person, very fast, very good with words, very appropriate with words from the little boy and so on. So by the time I entered the university, being the first Rastafari registered in the University of West Indies in 1966, immediately after Haile Selassie came to JC, and he, I would say I met him because he was the leader of the cadet band, and they did a dress parade and everything for the emperor. And when he entered the university, and as a part of the initiation of the university, new students have to tell people where they are from, about their country and about different cultural practices, and they have to do something like masquerade and something like gimmicks thing where I'm turning an idiot. But I wasn't able to turn God into an idiot because his main thing was giving talks about the rude boy culture of Jamaica. A kind of warning. A kind of warning talk. The rude boy culture of Jamaica, which was not merely troublemaking, but a protest against the social and political situation in the years immediately following the independence of Jamaica in 1962. Apart from the rude boy culture, he gave these talks, and some people were skeptical of them, but rest not about it. Before he was vice chancellor at university, he was the most influential person in the university community. And he was there warning the students and the staff of the university that they must listen to this new undergraduate student talking about the sociological situation especially in the inner city of Jamaica and the rude boy culture, and what the significance of the music, because Jamaican music, popular music, has been largely half religious, but more than half a protest music. It has always been a protest music from the time of Mento. Ska became even more marketed so as rocksteady and reggae. And that now became very well known outside of the campus, inside the campus, because of these things and because we used to circulate, keep our dance and move around. And we build up sound system like Meriton and so on by carrying out the younger youth here.
Yes. Minister Grange said that he was like an encyclopedia that, she said to quote her, he was like an encyclopedia that I could always consult on matters related to Jamaican music. He was so knowledgeable. That resonated with me on a serious level because that's exactly how we interacted. We found him in the very same way, that he was really this.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was he who wrote the speech that Seaga got a lot of credit for. Seaga being Prime Minister of Jamaica in 1981 when Bob Marley died in May, and made this speech at the arena, I believe it was, which resonated very well with the public and with the world. Was written by Garth White as one of the advisors. The people who were culturally and intellectually dependable. He was always a major figure in the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission as an advisor, as a person sitting on the festival song and the pop song committees and so on. And he became absorbed into the whole museum and archival system through the Institute of Jamaica, the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, the Memory Bank. Marabaki was awarded the Musgrave Medal, I think in about 1990, for this kind of work along with Peter Abrams.
Yes. Was he at any time a resident in residence at UWI? And I'm not sure why.
Yes, the Reggae Studies Unit had been set up by Carolyn Cooper, I think from either in the late 80s or in the 90s. And then he became a research fellow for it, anywhere I'm going to become the main resource person. Matter of fact, when the Music Museum was established a few years ago with Herbie Miller at the head, there were great moves by Mr. Crawford, Barish Evans just before he died, and everybody involved and knowledgeable to get Garth White into the Music Museum under the curatorship of Herbie Miller. And he did a lot of work. He was recognized for his work by Jaria. Many awards, including Jaria and the big reggae award there that they had at the sports complex there a few years ago, awarded by Kingsley Woodison, King Omar, tribute to the great. Then he wrote for years for the news, Ben Brody's paper, the news, the main and longest standing community newspaper in Jamaica. He was the closest friend of Babandi, very close to Marsha Griffith, many of the people. The Whalers, all of them grew up with all of them people. Matter of fact, he made a famous contribution to the major movie about Jamaica, probably the second major after that they come. Dr. No, remember when the James Bond movie was launched in Jamaica? We were on a cadet camp in 1961 to 62, the end of 61 to January 62, down at Roaring River. And God, as a member of the cadet band, their belts were different from the belts of the military belts of the Earth House cadets because they were stained in white paint. And this actress who became famous through that movie, the Swiss actress, I think she named Ursula Andress, the co-star with Sean Connery. She had on a bikini, and there was a famous beach bikini scene there, and it was an espionage movie and thing. And she emerged out of the water like a mermaid, but somebody saw gas with this cadet belt burnished very great in the brass colors and with the white standing out. And they borrowed it from him. Dickie Jobson was one of the main people in the production of that movie, at J.C. Boyd House. Asked God to lend this belt to Ursula Andress, and it became a very famous and iconic photograph of her coming out of the water and stroking her hair with this.
I know that. Yes, I know that scene. You know, I'm going to have to watch it again. Everybody going to watch it again. We know that scene very well. We did not. This is an interesting story. It's interesting how Garth White was very humble. This is somebody that was here at IRFM a lot. A very, very humble person, understated. He's the most knowledgeable person in the room, but he's a person who's speaking the less. He listened. He listened more. So he was a listener.
Yes. And he intersperses natural speech language, natural folk language of the street with a vocabulary, not trying to be loquacious or verbose, but always using some complicated words, but explaining them to the public without him saying anything. Matter of fact, I remember at 11 years old at Jamaica College, he became, it was at 11 or 12, a certain master at the school was forcing people to do certain things, and he wanted God to climb up on some ladder and go up to some way and do something. And God refused to do so quietly. And when the man was getting more irritable, God had just seen a movie about a certain physical condition, medical condition, and when the master was about to chastise him, probably even physically chastise him, he said, I cannot climb upon that ladder. I am suffering from vertigo. There's a movie named Vertigo, very famous movie named Vertigo. I had seen about 2 nights before.
Yes.
11, 12 years old, you know?
Yes.
And it was always like that. And he was a biker. He was a great biker, you know. He always had bikes. The circle of us always used to fix up bikes and supply all of the members of the group with a bike.
Okay.
Like a Honda 50 and all them kind of bike, 9. Till eventually got one of the first really big bikes, 4-cylinder. Can you imagine a 4-cylinder bike in them time, 354, 754.
Wow.
And he was very small in body, but he was a great bike, the bike very well. Matter of fact, he was a defender in football, great 3 years in play Man Cup for JC as a defense person, I mean, a half-line person with such a slight body. You know, you have to be very agile to confound the brute force of the opponent. But he also was a hurdler for Jamaica College at championships. And a triple jumper, you know, small as he was, you know.
Yes.
And he was a very good dancer, especially on the ska. The shuffling on the legs, man, kind of dancing on the ska.
Yes.
And all kind of different things, very rounded and...
and a contribution, a real serious part of the very fabric. Talking about Jamaica's development, the knowledge industry. He was a serious contributor to that space. And I'm sure that after this conversation, people are going to want to know more about Garth White, to read more about Garth White. He also published, and Minister Grange talked about his publications, also the development of Jamaican popular music with special reference to the music of Bob Marley, a bibliography, 1982, and traditional musical practice in Jamaica and its influences on the birth of modern Jamaican popular music, 1982. Do you know where we can get those publications, Jerry?
Well, I happen to have one of those publications. There's an institute at the university named the Institute of Social and Economics Research, very famous institute. And Paul was there for a time, and they put out some great authority. But from way back in the 50s, 54, 55, and I remember one of those main papers that he did, contributing original and deep research. I was going through my books earlier and so on that I have a copyright from us about 1965, 66, about 60, sometime around them time. But and the fact that he grew up in the part, just a stone's throw from Coxon's student. I was one of Coxon's closest friends, although we are juniors to Coxon by decades. And he was very well known, trusted and respected in the entire music industry from the days of ska. By the musicians, by the technicians, by the singers, by the producers, by the owners, especially by the sound system owners. You know, I himself had a sound system called, a friend named Fisher called Culturally High. And he did record a piece of music, and I hope he can play it for us.
I played Ghetto Tribulation before you came on.
Yes,
while we're holding for you.
Yes, and as I say, I'm on that sound system with Fisher named Culturally High. And he moved from between Trenchtown and Kentucky to the most intensive sound system and dance areas in the whole of Kingston. Moved from there to, ironically, Red Hills Road in 1964 at 17. And Red Hills Road was the next maker of the sound system and of the music, live music. From the 60s, come right up to the when Frontline. Before New Kingston maker of entertainment was Frontline, Red Hills Road have the most clubs. Most nightclub with a go-go club sound system, turntable, on the whole of the place, you know, the whole of that road. And so he was always living in these areas. And as a person who growing up with all of these artists, knowing them and so on. As a matter of fact, 1962 is when the first music was banned by the government of Jamaica. Blockade Chinaman by Prince Buster, because we mustn't talk about no Chinaman because we're out of many one. So it was a ridiculous thing. It was a political thing by the new government of Jamaica. And the next year, them banned Caribou-Brinkum by Justinine because it was a protest against the government trying to crush the Rastafari movement after the Coral Gardens thing. And God, being somebody inside of the whole of that, was able to explain and express from the time I was going to Jamaica College in writing and right on to university as a teenager. And it was invaluable. I mean, Dermot also did some early work in that time, but it was God who really did the first popular music, ska and reggae and things program on JBC in the late 80s. And it's when he left here that Bonnie Goodison actually took over his slot. And when God left here, as you know, he came to IRFM.
Jerry, we're totally out of time, and I really would like to hear much more about Garth, and for our listeners to understand, this is where we need to learn from Garth White. There's so much that is missing in the spaces that if we tap into that kind of that knowledge system, that knowledge base, the way Garth White dealt with things, that we can help turn this tide in terms of the trajectory of where we're going, both in broadcast media, print media, and all different kind of media, in terms of how we analyze things and report on things. These days, we don't see much of that happening, but Garth White was integral to guiding the media.
He was also the editor of a magazine that we started as teenagers named Black Man Speaks, which stirred the country and attracted Walter Rodney and precipitated the events of 1968.
There you go.
And I would like if we could play, it would be great if we could play JLo's Keep Empty by the Wailers.
Okay, I look for it. And also, just before you go, do we have any plans yet? Do we know anything about the memorial service and anything at all?
It is tentative. I don't know if I should speak out of turn.
All right, so hold that then. And then, yes. And
we publicize it near to the time.
And we hear from you again. Thank you so much. And please pass on our deepest condolences to Sandra and the family.
I appreciate it very much. And I would like you to be one of the people who give a memorial, even a short memorial at his memorial, because your words sum it up. I mean, it's the first time I spoke to you on the phone without any rehearsal or just hearing of God's passing. The spontaneity and the accuracy of your words, I would like it to be replicated.
All right, we'll talk about that, Jerry, once we get the date. So let us, Garth is somebody I'd really like to honor and to pay tribute to. So let us talk about that. Thank you so much, my brother, Jerry Small. Thank you so much.
Yes, our pleasure. Thanks on behalf of the family.
Up next at 8:30, it is now 26 minutes after 8 o'clock. Seeing a report, we had some serious flooding in Nigeria. The headlines are reading out of Europe. 6 drowned in Europe amid heavy floods. They say Storm Boris has caused rivers to burst banks and trapped people in their homes across Austria, Poland, and Slovakia. So we're seeing these floods across the world right now. In Nigeria, many died. I think it's kind of calming down a bit now, but just phenomenal. Aldith Hunka says, Sorbona, running African family, I see you, have the outside world to keep far from my front door. I have things to learn and upliftment to incorporate. No matter with the foolishness, it's true. Andrew Lumsden said, good morning, beautiful people. 3 weeks running, no app or internet. No wonder we didn't see you, Andrew. Really struggling to listen. I hope that you're hearing today, Andrew. Prince MacPherson says, the roads are rocky and the hills are steep and Maca scratches and the gullies are deep. Yes, my brother. Same way. Malcolm Addis Ahmed says that to you, my brother. James Jones says, Hotep-Kabu and all running African family ready for class again from long time. Yes, my brother. Kevin Naireri says Jamaica is the oldest plantation experiencing the longest slave rebellion in history. Robert Smith. And Kevin, I see what you're saying. You're from Rock Spring, or your parents from Rock Spring. We need to talk, because that is the same place we come from. So here we go. Rock Spring. If you're from Rock Spring, we need to have a conversation. A serious one too. All right? And he says we have accepted choosing the lesser of the evils. These are friends and family. And Irie Daughter says, Hotep African family, I'm here for my favorite program on a Sunday morning. So much to learn. Greetings, my sister Irie Daughter. Isis, where did that go? Isis says, okay, no, where did that go? Okay, so I lost that. I'll come back to that. It has pulled out of Niger now. 11 years of defense cooperation and millions of dollars spent on maintaining military bases. The United States officially pulled its troops out of Niger this week in a surprise divorce that experts are calling a blow to Washington's ambitions for influence in the troubled Sahel region of West Africa. This is according to relations between the two countries saw the U.S. establish large, expensive military bases from which it launched surveillance drones in Niger to monitor myriad armed groups that they say are linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIL. And these ties collapsed in March when Niger's military government, which seized power in July 2023, canceled a decade-long security agreement, told the U.S., which was pushing for a transition to civilian rule, to remove its 1,100 military personnel stationed there by September 15. Today is September 15, and so they're gone to Al Jazeera. They're gone. And what a triumph! It calls for celebration. AFRICOM and the militarization of aid and the militarization of the continent of Africa by the United States has to stop. It has to stop. There are no two ways about it. And if we can get more of these countries saying no to the US and no to France, then we're on the road to full independence. As long as we don't sell ourselves out to Russia and China in the process, because you can have bilateral relations without becoming colonized by these superpowers. That's all I'm saying. Phone lines are open. We're taking your telephone calls. Let us know what is on your mind. What do you want to talk about? Did we get a call about the PNP conference today yet? I'm not sure. But so that's happening today. And what do you want to hear from that stage? What do you want to hear the leader of the People's National Party say from that conference stage today? All right, so let's go back to the phone lines. Hotep, greetings.
Greetings,
my brother. How you doing?
I'm for say. Over an hour waiting, you know.
No, you're serious.
Let me serious. Over 35 minutes before Jerry Smart. Big up Jerry Smart, your son.
Yes, I'm a brethren. I'm so...
And from after that,
yes.
He just hang up and me call back and me just get chose.
Oh, okay. So you did hang up?
Me not complain, man.
You did hang up?
Gideon, you know.
Yes.
We're not afraid of it, you know.
Yes,
we don't know if we trust.
Yeah.
But if we back those who seems like if them are defend the fight, you know.
Yes.
Good against evil.
Yes, my brother. So go right ahead. I'm drinking some Surrey tea and I'll just give you the time to talk.
Well, I just got to put on some peppermint and search my heart. Search my heart, yeah.
Yes. Well, good.
What me merely want to talk about still, you know, is really education, our children.
Yes.
Right? All right. I one child me have, she just passed and start St. Jago High.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, to the Lord be the praises.
Yes.
All right. From Chaga School, right? I've never buy one of them. You only buy writing book and pencil. Mm-hmm. I've never bought one of the books that them tell us to buy. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I don't need these books. I don't need for spending so many money to teach my child add and subtract, divide and multiply. I just need a book and pencil. Mm-hmm. Right? So I don't buy them. Yes,
this is for primary school.
Yeah, from basic school
from basic
to
school to primary school. So now she's in high school. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she just gone to high school now, right? Mm-hmm. September, yeah, she just started high school 10 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. One time when she got basic school, when I teacher look for me and say, "What are you doing, make your child?" Because she ever first or second, you know. Mm-hmm. Charlie she said to me, "What are you doing, make your child have this brilliancy?" I mean, I asked me, say, "But you know this for years." Mm-hmm. Right? Me only can read, but as a man started to say Rastafari, listening to Muta Baruch and accept I listen last to the first and I read about him, I learn about him and see the importance of education. It makes sense. So Marcus Garvey said about we must read a lot and educating ourselves and make a sense. So me kind of do my little education, you know? Mm-hmm. Now me have a child, me have to make sure my child. Me know the system is not for us. Mm-hmm. So I don't depend on the system and I don't make the system tell me how my child can learn.
Yes. I
will listen to what they have to say because a good leader is a good listener. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? So I listen to what they have to say. But I think for myself, I have to have a mind for myself.
Yes.
And I see what really makes sense. So all along, a top girl in our class. Mm-hmm. Now, school is important because I'm a Rastafari. I worship Haile Selassie the first. And as the black people, education levels is way beneath what it could be. So when I send her to school, I try to be part of the school too. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just my child. Because my child, well, brilliant, everybody around her feel. It's going to still cause a problem for she.
Yes. So
me still try. And when I go to the school, then, I don't see that effort with the teacher them. I try to make sure the children understand, and overstand what they are doing. Mm. And sometimes I feel like them I make the children them I do too much something too quickly. Mm-hmm. Give them space. There are children them need time for breathe. Them need time for play and laugh. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, at the same time you reason with them, try to inspire them. Yeah. Try inspire them, show them why you're taking book. Like for instance, my little girl used to go on Stuart Basic School on St. John's Road there, and me go there one time and me observe one little girl where you know some black woman were stubborn. Mm-hmm. That she could child have the attitude that's stubborn. So it's like one day, through me there, I say, them give me a day in the class. Mm-hmm. And me sit down with that little child. Because when me in the class, me go round, me not sit down like how me say teacher them. Just put things on blackboard and sit down, who want to learn, who don't want to learn. Me work it. Me work it, because I want result. Because I not be a teacher in a class and most fail. If most fail, that me fail. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or if me not fail, me must show that me do my utmost best, but there are other things that are cause this to happen. Mm-hmm. You understand me? So, me sit down with that child, I'm reason with that little child, and if that day that child do every work. Me not try draw from our, me not say no, society influence. You understand me? Me try make sure you know, say, look here, man. Nothing wrong if you wind up yourself, you know, if I touch your pre, you know. You know, because you can dance, you can perform. But at the same time, you need to take your book. Because when you don't, people are going to laugh off of you. When you don't, people are going to use them and underpay you. And when
So the point I'm taking from you is that the parent need to be involved. Your child, even though you never buy no book, you know, buy the book on them, say you just buy the writing and the pencils. A book that is at the primary school level and the basic school level is that she always first and second in class. But that your involvement in our life, your involvement in the school life. What about high school now? Will you buy the books? Well, you have to buy some because I suppose in high school now a lot of the books are there and in the program that they have. But I think you still have to buy one or two.
I love your question because I tell her, say, no, I'm going to buy them now.
Yes.
But me look on her and I tell her, say, I don't really want you right up in the book door, you know. Right? Because these books can also use for other children coming after you.
Yes, I have that thinking on the workbook situation, you know.
Yeah, because the point is, all right, the work out them writing on the book, and you have place where you put the answer. And the point is, if you just write the answer in your notebook, because the teacher don't have the book and know we're supposed to them I do. So if me just put the answer in my notebook, teacher cannot touch with my notebook, and she don't have a book for herself, and she mark right from wrong.
Yeah.
Now that same book, instead of every year we have to spend millions of dollars, make the book people them rich. That same book can use for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 10 or 20 people and come off a sheet.
This is the thing that I agree with you 100%. I cannot understand the workbook situation. What is wrong with getting this? You have the book, you write, you work out the problems, if I'm maths or whatever, and you write the answers in the book like before, and you hand in the book like before. So that the books can, if you have 3 children or 4, the book can pass down. But what I find now is that there's a whole lot of money being spent on books. So this must be a plan to prop up,
make the rich and the poor poorer. Because at the same time, my sister, my sister, me hear a lot of people talk about them by the sweeper book, and when they hear done, they put in them all, they do even quarter something in the book.
That is true.
So me look upon them and tell them, say, you sit down and wait upon teacher, because my daughter, she kind of shy, but even
if you do it as a parent, it still don't, it's not a situation where the book you can have the book that on the book list and the book not used at all, you know. So that's another waste. So I am thinking, even though you can't waste book, because if once a child have the book, whether you use it at school, yes or no, you did already buy the book. Read the book, go through the book, do the problems in the book if that's what you're going to do. But we can also cut back on waste by not packing up the book list with a whole heap of books that the children them not going to use, because not
just that. They might get them all 5 subjects in a one day. Them all they can read, because me I talk to my teachers at school, because last year I go St. John's Primary. And teacher tell me, say, but me I teach 4th grade, I attend pitney to me in a 4th grade class. Who can read? When me if you do, how can I help them to understand this? Me tell her, me, if me was you know me I do, make sure me spend time help them to read.
Yes.
Because if they can't read, why you gonna give me books with one heap of writing where way over my head? How me gonna do it? It's impossible.
Yes. And then the point you make about can't read is an interesting one, because too many of our students are leaving school without being able to read or to write. I know that I saw something in the newspapers the other day where an expert, I can't remember his name, but he was suggesting, or she was suggesting, I think it was a he, returning to the 3 R's, because there's a crisis in mathematics we're understanding now in school. And the point was being made that we go back to the 3 R's, where I think it's a Dr. McDaniel who said that, was talking about overhauling the education system and pointing out that concentrate on the reading, writing, and arithmetic, and drop out all of the other 7, 8 subjects that the children are doing at that level, and ensure, because it is what it is, and we have to deal with the reality, the isness of things. If we have a crisis in mathematics, which Marcus Garvey said we must learn maths and science. If we have a crisis in that element of the education industry and the learning sector, then we need to ensure that we focus on getting and correcting that, the reading, the writing, and the mathematics. So I agree with Dr. McDaniel, I think his name was, who said when the child leaves primary school, they must be literate, they must be numerate. This is a point. And too many students are heading to high schools who cannot read and do not know maths. I don't know how you come to grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and end up in high school and cannot read.
Look here, my sister.
It's a failure in the system. It's a failure of government. It's a failure in the homes.
It's a deliberate act.
It's a failure on so many different levels. 6,000 high school students, according to
more thing.
Let me finish that statement. 6,000 high school students left school, did the C6 exam last term, and 6,000 are out and don't even have one subject. That to me is enough to give us heart attack. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah. The little child who had a 7-year-old machine gun in a bag.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Let me show you something. I'm born and grown in Kingston. A Spanish town I live now, Sydenham. They call it Signam. Sydenham, they call it as the right pronunciation, right? And I can remember me a youth in a downtown Kingston and I see man a game like a baby boy. Younger than 7-year-old. Gun in, because it become popular thing, not now hide. I play a game like a baby, less than 5-year-old gun to play with. You understand me? Go and put them in a man, I broke them in that mindset there from young. Yeah? But one more thing though, sister, I'm going to tell you what come to my mind. Because you always say, the devil is the devil, I work for the devil, I got to do the devil will. Now you see, I and I who claim say we want betterness for African people, we have to put our resources together and start our own schooling.
Yes.
Because we don't do that, Because if you get up every day and talk about them,
Agreed.
And them not change, and we not pick up arms out there, I say, all right, Kabu, more give AK-47, motor, more give the bomb, and we are about to go war because we are talking them now here, say, come there, we have to fight. Or we organize our resources by ourselves, our little bit of much, and we try to create our own school, Kabu.
Excellence is the highest form of rebellion. That's what we teach our children.
And we don't have to have no concrete building, we can get little bamboo and something from piece of land. And
well, you're talking to me straight now, because that is come like a confirmation. We don't need sometimes we don't need a building.
Because we go like a money, everything. Money is like, some here say want to wisdom. Is it wisdom greater than money? Is it Solomon said knowledge is more valuable than silver and gold?
Yes.
Everything with it for money, and like we can't do no without money. Like we worship money, that mentality that they want us to have.
Yes.
We feel like we can't eat food without money. So we don't have to plant. We just go look money, they go work for them, and them do all of the big planting and feed up on poison. And then we come and eat them food and say we eat food. We can get education without
but my
money.
brother, I want to underscore a point where you just make. Before we wrap up, I want to draw a line out of this point, because this is where we have to go with now, which is two things you said. One is that we don't have to wait on them because we understand the dangers. We must teach the children ourselves. And the second thing, form our own schools, create our own learning spaces. And the second thing is we don't always need a building. While we wait on the building or we go for the building, we do it where we can do it. Thank you so much, my brother.
Can I ask you to do something for me? Call me by my name.
What's your name?
Idiot.
Are you that now? Yeah. Are you that? You know me, I'll call you that.
Love you. Bless love.
Give thanks, my brother. Give thanks. 3 minutes going up to 9 o'clock. No, I need to take a break. Let me take a break.
Babu.
Yes, my brother.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you do?
I'm okay now.
Yes.
The Prime Minister needs to let go of Portland title now.
To let go what?
The title. Make the people and get their land right.
Oh, which title?
In Portland, land title.
Land title. What is happening in Portland?
Right now, Kabu, my mother go through a lot of stress, Kabu. Right now, we need the title, because right now, from the people in here, so we are going to get title. Them black we out from the back part of the land. And we to where I live, Kabu. If fire to take me, and my mother. And my mother alone live. Mm-hmm. And if fire to take away, we don't know who that man is right now. Mm-hmm. So the title that we can get, the title, the land title.
All right, so bring me up to speed with what going on, because we're kind of not sure what is happening. There was an announcement about land title in Portland?
No.
All right, so the land that you're on in Portland, this is whose land?
My motherland, you know.
Your motherland, and you don't have the title for it?
No, we're supposed to get the title.
So why you not have the title for it?
We are looking at the title from 2021.
And can't get it?
And can't get it.
What make?
Well, Kabu, it look like some corruption about. I'm not sure, but it look like them have some corruption with it. I can't understand Kabu. Kabu, from we are looking at the title, you know what the people end up, Kabu? Them black people from the back part of the land. Certain things we really want to talk over the year. Mother want to talk it half of the year.
So the land, okay, I get the point you make. So the land where you depend on your motherland, a land where you're born, come see?
Yeah, yes.
And you start look at the title and you see people moving.
My mother, I look at the title.
Right, and you see, and you say them a block you off from the back of the land.
Yeah, from the year, so we'll get titles. Then fence we in from the back. So that's how we are the nearest to find the fire to take with. That's how we are the nearest.
I see what you mean. It looked to me like you need a lawyer.
Yes, I have a lawyer.
Then what the lawyer doing?
And the land agent, may I explain something to you, Kabu? When mother want half of the year with you. Mm-hmm. But the National Land Agent do 2022, them call we in a night and I ask you some question about the land here. Mm-hmm. Then after a while them say the title rejected. So it seems like some corruption are going on in the National Land Agent.
No, but no corruption can't take your land from you then kind of way there. Because you would have, there's a way for determine who paying taxes on the land all these years. Who paying the land taxes?
My mother.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the first place you start. So, I don't understand how you can be paying the land taxes all these years and all of a sudden your taxes, your title denied. I think you need to talk back to your lawyer and you need to talk to your lawyer urgently.
Yes. What I want to talk, I don't want to talk over the year.
But me understand, but me no lawyer. I can listen to you, but I have enough experience because a lot of people over the 34 years I'm working in this on this program have called me about and with land issues. My experience has taught me that don't even skid. Go straight to the lawyer and have a frank and open discussion with the lawyer and make sure so the lawyer deal with the thing urgently. This is how this is what I have learned over the years. So no matter, even if you talk to me off air, you're still going to need to tomorrow morning on Monday, make your tea, give mama, and then go to the mama, your mama, go to the lawyer.
Yes. Yeah, what I want to say to you, a person build a house into the right of way, light wire was there, and a person build up him house and we light wire, but we never know that land there belongs to my mother father.
Okay, so who paying the taxes on that land?
Yes, Tabo.
Who paying the taxes on that land?
My mother paid the taxes.
Well, so take all the documents and go to the lawyer tomorrow morning. And have a frank and open discussion with the lawyer.
Yeah. And the rural string in. It said, please, do the rural string in. So 2020 now, when we get the survey look up on the receipt and go in a revenue and say, I've done this, so him say that personal land. God don't want to call certain name.
Yeah, don't call nobody name. Me hear everything what you're saying now. You see all of that what you're saying to me?
Yes.
If the more you talk, the more me know say you need a lawyer.
Yeah, man, we have a lawyer.
When it come to land, you don't wrap up with it. Go to the lawyer. Thanks for calling you here and let me know how it go. I understand the pain of it. I really understand the pain of it.
But the worst pain of it is fire to take me and my mother right here to Kabu. Oh, we have a manage our sickness.
And that is urgent, That is urgent. So say that when you go to the lawyer tomorrow. Please, my brother. Say that when you go to the lawyer tomorrow.
I wicked do it.
So who allowed, the parish council allowed these houses to be built up like that in the middle of the walkway and the driveway and so on and so forth? Because you have to get permission to build?
I don't think parish council know about it.
So you probably need to go parish council too and go and ask the mayor how come, how that. Ask the parish, whoever responsible at parish council. So point out what is happening and ask them how that.
Right now, it's on tree where they're from a wire, where the common law was fenced in from 2021. Right now, we can't see road.
I say you need to go to the parish council or you need to go to the lawyer. Sometimes these things, because it's a bit challenging, but it will not be solved if you don't do anything about it. So please, you have two things to do. One, go to the parish council and go to the lawyer. All right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Let me know how it go, right?
Yeah, man.
All right. You clearly, you said...
I'm saying that you were saying to me that we must be aware that if we lose Little Duns River, I'm actually going to lose my space too because I'm close by. But the problem I'm really having now is that after 30-odd years being there, work and live there, I've had 7 children born to me right there. Mm-hmm. But the after the last parish council election, I was putting up a building, rebuilding after they burned down a building I had there. Mm-hmm. I was rebuilding with the intention to make a restaurant because parish council years ago had asked me to remove the residential occupancy and return it to commerce as the area was zoned as a commercial airspace. Mm-hmm. They actually said to me if I cooperate, we wouldn't have no problems with them. Now,
did they give you that in writing?
They did that in writing.
So you have that? You have the document?
I don't want they, say that end up burn up in the last fire that burned down the building. So I don't have
They
that
should have a copy of it at the parish council.
Yeah, they do. They must have there.
Ask them for a copy, yes.
What I noticed, though, is that the 1 week after the parish council election, my office is a complex problem, but me just I give you the shot.
Make we talk, man. I'm listening.
All right. Yeah, well, no. I was in dialogue with the previous mayor because there are there seems to be this public-private partnership, where government align themselves with some people who have them own individual agenda. Mm-hmm. to frustrate the ordinary people, especially people who have occupied spaces like those the government may have an interest into and can't go around you. So they use people who make mischief, tell lie, and you come out you hear murder, and then they come in and say murder commit, so we have to take this space. Mm-hmm. That's something like part of what happened at Little Duns River. Mm-hmm. Now I'm saying that 1 week after the election, and my place was bulldozed. Even though I was not taken to court or not. Can you imagine you're there for 30-odd years and you have all these agreements and these dialogue with the agencies. You have always have a good relationship with the police, UDC, TPDCO. Mm-hmm. And I do a craft there, which even TPDCO has always said to me that straw craft is very important. And the government is more aligned to the artisan craft, which I'm doing there. Mm-hmm. But yet they just come behind the back and lick down the bulldozer.
All right. So 1 week after the parish council election, we're gone the other day.
Yeah.
You're saying that somebody come to where you have your building at Little Duns River.
Parish council.
Parish council come to your building at Little Duns River that you've been there for 30 odd years.
Lick down the building that I was putting up. And
all right. So did you have permission to put up a building?
As I say, I have been there for 30-odd years, and before I adopted this space, I went to Kingston, to UDC, to ask them for a lease. They said it's not there. I went to the parish council. They said it's not there. So none of the agencies admitted that this place was theirs. So I adopted the space, and over the years, I've established a good relationship with all these agencies.
Yes.
That is how later on, like just about a couple of years ago, I was written to by the parish council who asked me to remove the residential dwelling and return it to commerce. And if I don't do that, I would lose my interest in the area. So I hurriedly did that.
Yes.
And have been continuing to do my work there. As I said, the straw work is a very important work to my economy.
But you said it burned down. When did it burn down?
It was burnt down like about 2.5 years ago.
And so within for 2.5 years, nobody was at that spot.
Yeah, man, I was still there with a small little craft shop.
Okay, so your craft shop is still there right now as we speak?
It's still there right now. So what happened is that they had written, I was trying to establish now a restaurant there. And I got a notice from parish council that I should stop because I'm building without a building permit.
Yeah, but that's I understand though, I understand that. I understand. I'm telling you, I understand that because what you should have done before you started building onto that craft shop. Rebuilding. What you should have done before you started rebuilding was to get the permission from the parish council, right? So I can see why they would have knocked it down. But did they give you warning? Did they give you warning before they knocked it down?
That's what I'm saying. The notice went on to say that if I don't stop build, they would take me to the court. So I was the part and parcel of this though is that I've been served by some little people where have their own agenda with notice. I even want to have here, which you can see the person who writes it up can't even read properly. So say it's not from the parish, which parish don't say it wasn't from them. But I've been give me notice also from UDC with their letterhead. And when I got to them, they say they did not send that notice. So there's some troublemakers. There's some troublemakers trying to get you from the spot. Right. And what I realize now is that it seems like the government has been, the agencies of government has been caught into that and it's working along that line.
Which agency?
Like the parish council, because the notice said that if I don't stop, they would take me to the court. They never take me to the court so I could trash this thing out and verify whether it was a real notice from parish council. But they just come and hit down the building. So I saw the mayor stop there. That morning they was looking down the building. And I'm saying to him, how come? I mean, I've been here for 30-odd years.
That is Mayor Bill Davis?
Right. And I've been a corporate citizen. I've done so much for the area with cleanliness, with the stopping of people from rob tourists and all of this. A lot of work over the years, which they acknowledge and the police acknowledge. Now, I'm saying to him, how come? He said to me, saying, never know this was going on. He was just passing by and see it and he stopped. No, that was a lie. No, he said to me, maybe you should go to the mayor and see if they can give permission to put up a shop. So I said to him, I've been in dialogue with the previous mayor about it. And he said he would visit me, but he did not. I said, who is the mayor now? That's 1 week after the election. I said, who is the mayor now? Mr. Ben Davis said to me, say, he don't know who the mayor is. Now, after him drive off, me was speaking to the parish council people who led the operation. And I'm saying the man just said to me that he don't know the mayor. The parish council lady said to me, say, you're really sure this man said that to you? He's the mayor, how could he say that? I went to his office and spoke to him. And I said to him, but Mr. Ben Davis, how you say you don't know who the mayor is? He said to me, you're citizen, you should have known, you're supposed to know who the mayor is. I said, but that's 1 week after the parish council election, I must know that.
So he was joking. Anyway, he was kind of joking with you at that time when he said you don't know the mayor is. But so let's just get this. What?
He said to me right there and then, he said, okay, the liquor shop that is left there, I'm going to give you a letter so you can sleep comfortable knowing that nobody will be able to lick down that.
Right.
And so 2 weeks ago, I went to his office so as to get that letter.
And
And I spoke to the man, the man stand up in front of me and I tell me, say, he did not promise me that letter. He didn't have a dialogue with me. And I can't believe the man is standing up there and telling me all this.
Mayor Bell Davis is saying that?
Mr. Ben Davis, I was very disappointed with his behavior and the way he's...
Well, one thing we know, and you've been there for so long that you were also there at a time when Mayor Bell Davis was mayor before, so he should know you very well, right? So he should know you very well and know that you've been there for a very long time.
But his excuse to me was that why they lick down the place is that someone has been telling him that I know me not call the name now, but the same problem people said they tell him that I was actually building a house there. I say, why didn't you come
say
and
something to you?
Yeah, why you how can you use hearsay and lick down? I mean, they just spent $300,000 on the material, almost finished this building, which the era really did me beginning of the health food vegan thing. So I was trying to set up a natural restaurant.
Yes.
So I said divert from the competition with this person next door to me when they give a space beside me. Yes. Where always cause confusion. So so I am very disappointed in the way so I spoke after leaving his office. I went to Mr. Samuda's office and spoke to some of the people around him because he was not there. And they are telling me that I should not have made much faith in Mr. Ben Davis, but what I should do is to take this number and get to Mr. Samuda because something is wrong about
the people at Mr. Samuda's office telling you not to have any faith in Mr. Samuda's
in Mr. Ben Davis.
In Mr. Ben Davis?
Some of the things he has been doing, and I'm just quoting.
So, Mr. Ben, so look here, hang on there, because we can stop you here a little, because this sounds really complicated. But I think it's pretty simple. What I can do for you is to call Mr. Bill Davis and to ask him what's the situation with the people who are there at Little Duns River and including your own space.
Well, as I say, me no want to say remember Little Duns River is a separate entity. I am at where I am at. I have never had problems connected to the Little Duns River thing.
So it's a separate. So okay. So yeah. Oh yes, I do recall that because. But you were always in danger, as I told you many years ago.
Yes, it's like I'm saying.
Because them have them eyes on your thing because it is what it is,
So even after the storm, I said I met him and came on site, and I was saying to him, Mr. Ben Davis, look at the space, look how we keep this place clean over the years. Not here the rest of the place dirty. This is always a clean space.
Let me ask you, what do you want me to, what do you want to see happen? Like, what can we do for you? Let me know what you have in your mind.
I would love to speak to you further on a dialogue between him and me, but I would like to explain the whole thing.
All right. Okay, so let's do that. Yes. So let's do it. All right.
It has been dragging out for 7 years now. I've been having.
So let me tell you what to do. Tomorrow, Monday, give Shamara Preston a call here and work out with her when we can talk, whether it is in studio or we need more time. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right.
And we just want to big you because I've been a religious listener to your program. You know that. But even though I don't call sometimes, but
thank you so
much. I don't
much.
want to miss you, and I just love the work you have been doing. I just want to make sure you know that
thank
I
you so much.
Your work, and you have been doing a lot for the people.
Thank you so much, my brother.
I'm encouraging you to continue because we need people like you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Respect, my sister.
Good morning, my sister.
Yes, greetings.
I've been listening for years, and always wanted to call,
Yes.
But, however, this is the time.
Welcome,
that
Akwaba.
Powers,
Yes.
So, one of the things that I see happening with the education system, is that what I see the teachers, them not emphasizing on getting the children educated to pay more attention on the children are tired.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the teacher get to school early in the morning and they keep this church, this big devotion, 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
A school is a school.
Yeah.
And a church is a church.
This is something that is concerning for me also, that the devotion, I think devotion is important. I think that morning devotion is important.
Yes.
But it has changed over the years.
Yes.
It has become a proper, depending on the prevalence of what denomination is at the school, if it's a church school, it becomes a caricature in a way of that denomination. So for Pentecostalism, then you turn in our Pentecostal thing and everybody in a spirit and those who are talking in tongues. And it's a whole, I cannot believe that this is allowed to go on in schools in the way that it is happening. There's a place for religion if you want in schools, there's a place for spirituality, but the emphasis should be on learning, but also there are ways to conduct devotion that can be less time and more pointed, and also this is where you inculcate some of the patriotism. But go ahead, my brother.
Yes, so I'm saying the word devotion. When you have a person telling children to devote themselves to this entity, and there's so many different views on religion. Yes. So I don't think this thing should be inside of the schools. And one of the things I keep on noticing, every year the principals, they agree, nobody have no problem. They lock all the children out of school in the morning. The boys them have to go around in the corner to barber shop. You understand me? And by the time they get the haircut...
But then the Minister of Education...
There's nothing wrong with it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Minister of Education say that this school term, there shouldn't be that emphasis on, and I suppose you have it, grooming is one thing, and is this where the teachers are having a problem? Because I know there was something that came out of the ministry saying that, schools would not be so inflexible concerning, hairstyles and so on.
Yeah, you see, the minister says one thing, but the principals, they feel like they own the school. They don't know that school belongs to the children. And I don't think no school, a student should turn up at the school and they get locked in face. And him outside are looking like, say, it's a dance he might try go into.
That's
and
wrong.
The security, they are black him out. So
that's wrong.
these are the things they get. And the main thing what I see happening, they're doing this to the boys more than the girls.
Mm-hmm. How do
and then when the boys go through this trauma in the daytime, by the time they get into the school, in frame of mind gone from learning through all of this distraction.
That's cool. That's true.
About him here, in socks, in belt. You understand me?
Let me say something that's going to be very controversial. I know it's going to be controversial even before I say it, but I'm going to say it the same. I think that there needs to be a drive. We have a teacher shortage already, and it's a very this brain drain that we're having in the public sector is affecting obviously the teachers in more than most. But I would suggest, and this is something that I think is needed, that there's a drive to employ and to train and to employ more male teachers in the schools, and you see. Like me say, I know I said controversial, and that's why I search my words. Because to me, I understand that male teachers will have a different understanding, and hopefully a different understanding of the teenage boy kind of manifestation and response to his surroundings and his environment, and can intervene.
Yeah.
This is what I really seriously believe this.
Yes.
Anyway, go on. Let me leave it because I know me already in trouble. So let me just leave it and move on. Yeah.
So another thing what I realize is throughout basic school, primary to university, nobody knows anything about the Constitution. Nothing taught to any of the children. Mm-hmm. I used to be a vendor in Africa-Kabu under the bus stop. By the Coasters Park. So in the evening, all the children so I get to have a first-hand experience of how the children operate after they leave in school. Yes. And I always say to my friends, when you see the children behaving is what they went to school and learn.
But what about the home? What about the home?
You see, at home, the parents have to instill discipline. You understand me? But the parents pay the rent and pay the bills and pay the teachers and send the children to school. And when them leave in primary, the teacher give him a certificate and cannot read and write. And they're posing up, taking picture with the children. Send them to high school. They leave high school and know nothing about the Constitution, can't barely read a paragraph. Because I see this curriculum is only building workers. So they emphasize on all the children dress.
You know, a brother who's listening online, who's listening to the program, texted me earlier, and I'm going to read something he says. He says, K. He says, the education system is still a weapon of the colonial system. Even as we seek our various degrees in such a system, we must be mindful that it does not seduce us into throwing out or acquiring our ancestral wisdom, practices, and liberty. This is our true education. We were accomplishing much while the down pressers were still in caves. And I think that says it kind of underscores a point that you're also making, that the system is in chaos, but the system is in chaos deliberately.
Right.
There's a deliberateness about this that we can't be talking about this for so many years and instead it's getting worse. Yeah. So it's deliberate. It's also
not care which minister come in is the same agenda, because you see the system is about building workers, not thinkers. Because after the instillment, you see what happened. We've been under the British military rule since the British took over the island from the Spaniards.
Yes.
So the Prime Minister, he has little and much to say about anything happening, because it is the governing general that is governing Jamaica. That's why you see all these, you talk about the militarization of these persons.
These government agencies. The government agencies,
Right, because these generals from this, because you see Jamaica don't have an army. The people don't know. That is a regiment of the British Army at the upper camp, with the governing general who control the island. And they put you on a thing they call an Indian trick. So we feel like it is the Prime Minister running things. But it really is Buckingham Palace who giving the directions to the governing general who in turns govern all things.
And this is why we have to revisit independence, this idea of independence. We have to revisit it. The constitutional reform process, it's underway, and I know there's a document that is out already. It is the more they try to, they cannot convince people, so they're confusing the people, because it could be simpler. So Jamaica is now more confused than before the document was put out. So that also has a deliberateness about it.
Right, because you see this constitutional reform business, what they're talking about. We cannot after everything, we don't need to have no governing general. And if we're going to set up new constitutional reform and still have a governing general.
Or a ceremonial president, which is the same thing.
Yes. Because there's no ceremony. You see, you hear about the general election? Because we don't add the S's to the end of the word. It is the general election. It is the governing general who calls this election. You understand me? It's only the Prime Minister might say, well, I think it could be, we're ready now, and it check this governing general who announce, because it really is the governor's election. Because a trick.
So what do we do, my brother? What do we do?
We need liberation, my sister. And it's not going to happen because the educate, our family come out of our mother and our mother. So nothing we know, nothing we learn is for our benefit. If you learn it through this system or underneath, because nobody don't realize it's a governing general run the island. Nobody don't realize we don't have no army in Jamaica. You understand me? It's not Andrew Owens who send these soldiers to Haiti. It is a governing general through the order of the Buckingham Palace. Because you see, there was this governor, Lady Nugent, George Nugent, was a governing general in 1800s, from 1801 to 1805. You understand me? And when I read Lady Nugent's book, it gave me the understanding of what really happening with Haiti, Jamaica. You didn't know that when the Haitian Revolution, the governing general from Jamaica sent a ship to Haiti to collect the Spaniards who had surrendered to the British. right? Because a rebellion and the Asians were killing off these persons, these white people in 80s. So when it came to Jamaica, the governor general said, none of the personal slaves is to come off the ship. They must go back to Haiti because they don't want the rebelliousness to pass on to the Jamaican people. Because you see, Jamaicans were the most obedient set of enslaved people until today. That is why we never have no liberation day. We don't have no freedom day.
I don't think that is quite true. Because if you look at just go back in the history, look at a lot of the wars that were fought during slavery. And the Chief Tachi, for example, in the 1860 war, I mean, that was a serious war. What came out of that was phenomenal. And then we had the Sam Sharp wars. But there were two dynamics at play. The docile and the those who were closer to the plantation system and the which we still have now on the island. The two dynamics still playing out here on the island.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's uninteresting.
What I learned is when these rebellions, the mass of people do not join with these persons who was against the system. For example, Morant B.
No, but no. It's
the rest of the island never joined in this rebellion, so we could have an overall revolution.
There were right. I hear the point you're making, but just let's just put it in perspective. So there were always the betrayals and the betrayers, and there were always the liberators. This has been playing out on the island forever and just playing out over and over again until we get it right. It's going to continue to play itself over and over again. But people joined the rebellions, people joined the wars, but they were always the betrayers.
Yes, it was the mass of people. So I'm just saying to say the nature of the mass of the Jamaican people is not a rebellious nature. You see all these things that happen and everybody just sit down silent. For instance, the people buy half a cake soap, $20 toothpaste. 2 slices of bread.
Yes, my brother. Yes.
You ever see that in shop?
It's Marcus Garvey talk about until our backs are against the wall. And the question I'm asking here, our backs yet against the wall?
Right. So we're not a rebellious nation of people because our mind has been conquered by the British. That's why we think we have an independence. And if you check it out here, they say Jamaica was granted an independence, 1962. They don't know what granted means different from when you declare yourself independent.
When you take it like Haiti.
Yeah, when it's been granted, you have to take it with this and take it with that.
Yeah. They have us, my brother, literally they have us drinking poison to quench our thirst.
Right.
And we think that our thirsts are being quenched. And it's poison we're drinking. And it's playing out over and over and over on the island.
Yeah, my sister.
It's a problem we have.
So I do many things I have to say and discuss with you,
Call me back another time. Yes.
Right.
I really enjoy talking
appreciate
to you.
And the things I've been doing over the years.
Yes, thank you so much.
I've been listening to the program from you start out in the early days.
Yes.
And I listen and realize how it tone changed. Yeah. Because what I want to ask you, are you a Rastafarian, my sister?
I'm a Pan-African.
Okay.
I'm a Pan-African.
I understand.
Yes.
Because we have to keep learning,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I see Rastafari as a step, a gateway to coming into my self-consciousness.
Yes.
Yes. Even though I've learned more about African,
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Please continue. I will need you, my sister. Nobody else in Jamaica talks like you do. You understand me?
Thank you, my brother. Really appreciate it. We appreciate the call.
Please
no
continue
problem.
to work.
Give thanks.
Respect.
All right, so back with the Inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running Africa. And thank you so much, Open Aki and Kalaloo Man, because I'm drinking a Sursa tea because you can't Sursa for me. And, we cannot make it bitter because we like it really bitter. We know we can't drink it every day because Sursa is really a strong herb. And you just have to be careful how you drink it. I think them say if you need to drink it if you're drinking Sursa, you drink it like once or twice a month or maybe 3 times a month. But me love Sursa so much that me will drink it a little bit more than that. But don't follow me. Anyway, so that's that about Sursa. So it's a go almost everywhere in Jamaica. No? You look at any banking, and you know, it's a banking in Jamaica. We mean the roadside, right? The bank. So when you pass any road banking, any roadside, and you look up in Jamaica, and any other rural parts of Jamaica, you're likely to see cerasee just hanging over and growing. And then you have people who, you know, are cultivating cerasee in a nice little way. Them have them farm and them see the cerasee come and they make sure the cerasee clean and nice and well cultivated. So this is what Kalaluman and them doing up there. And so I have my cup of cerasee. I'm actually drinking it cold. Right, cold. Well, not cold, but warm enough, but the AC in the studio make it cold, you know. But it's really good. We are taking your telephone calls. We're going to go back to the phone lines and continue with your calls. Let me take this one. Hotep, greetings. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, greetings, my brother. How you doing?
Good morning, Lady Kabu.
Yes, how you doing?
You know, me really talk about the roads in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Me I love the government of Jamaica and somebody who have in the cabinet take a drive from downtown Kingston to 6 miles and tell you if you have a comfortable ride.
Well, you have a comfortable ride. It depends on what I'm driving.
Oh man, you can drive them big SUV.
Even though them SUV them good. Them still feel it.
Now tell you one incident I see happen a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I drive most of the place in Jamaica seeking parts at time, but sometimes traffic catch up on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Right out of the area out of 2 miles or so. I look come and slow down to go in and patrol out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was robbed.
Right.
Rob him just to slow down to go down in and patrol.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
One leg.
So this is a problem across Jamaica, right? And it's a very serious problem. But we just had a parish council election the other day, and people voted. Parish council responsible for a lot of the roads. NAA responsible for a lot of the roads. And we've been putting up with it. I know that let me be fair to the masses of Jamaican people, because people come out and demonstrate all the time in Jamaica about bad roads, and nothing is done. So what then?
So who do we really answer to about these things? Because I have to save some people the other day again. There's a big patrol right after expenditure.
Mm-hmm.
A man dropped in the patrol, and 2 front tires them blow out. Car almost catch a fire. We have to stop and assist.
There's a big patrol down here in I spoke about it this morning. I don't know if you heard me at Draxhall in the Draxhall area there.
But look at it.
The person who's the candidate for member of parliament for Matthew Samuda, and all those who came down, I think the Prime Minister might have been in that motorcade too. They all went around that pothole that somebody put a flower pot in with the flowers in there. They all went around that pothole like it was a roundabout.
Well, I'm not tell you. But look at it. I recommend. I give them praises. The road of them fixed from Runaway to Ochi to Brownstown.
Yes, I've seen that.
That road looks good. But what about the road from Brownstown through to Clarkstown, Duncan, and them places? Them road can't do the same like Runaway Road.
So the question is, why is it that here in Jamaica we have a perennial bad road problem? The question is that, and then for answer, because sometimes we see the roads being fixed, right? And we know so the contract give out and the roads being fixed. And little bit after that, you just take a rain for fall, a heavy rain for everything mash up. So there's some serious levels of corruption in terms of road work in Jamaica, where politicians are giving them friends contracts, or they themselves.
Well, the thing about it,
those who have the bulldozer, those who have the presser, those who have the big vehicles for car, the materials to fix the road, they're all connected, and those who have the knowledge are nowhere to be found in all of that.
Right now, Lady Kabu, the toll I go sky high now. And people can't afford the tour, so they have to use a local side tour them to support the people. Maybe going to sell on the roadside and stuff. I don't see nobody on the tour that sell nothing. Yeah. Sometimes man that want to stop somewhere and buy a piece of chicken and all them things up on the old road. So I know fix the old road so we can use our road instead of a pay one toll where we can't afford. Sometimes little money I have to buy little gas to carry it through.
Well, who you paying the toll to?
We're paying the toll to China people after the government now got free. The government did have something put a stop on certain toll for raise. Every year the toll raising after Kabu.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I said, as I said to the caller before you. As Marcus Garvey says, we won't know ourselves until our backs against the wall. And then me asking, are our backs against the wall yet?
Well, the back is more than against the wall right now because gunmen are kill people of Jamaica and the government are rob people of Jamaica because them patroller, they are saying what examiner to come take off your plate because your front end no good and you see them road where you pay tax for. How much up the road?
So what is to be done?
Understand? These members of parliament who responsible for them constituency, them need to come out and think about people because people think about them when election time come.
They might have a decentralized government where money is that this idea of everything going to the center. They might parishes responsible for themselves, like states responsible for themselves in the US. I'm just saying where money is that coming from tourism, for example. The amount of money that coming from tourism. Who are the tourists? Who are the principals in the tourism industry? How do they get their contracts when they come in? I know that in Russia, for example, if you're coming in to build a hotel and you part of the signing of that contract, if government or gear that includes you are responsible for the road from here so to this in front of the hotel, and you have all some other corporate social responsibility. Here in Jamaica, you might be right in front of a hotel. You see the hotels out of Runaway Bay. You see how the patrols are big outside.
I see that. Right. But even the other day, I point out to somebody in a watch, I say, right at the clock, so the police them all. I'm big patrol broke out there, so you see.
Yeah, so they.
And I say to them, wait until the hole bigger, I kill somebody.
Yes.
That somebody crashing out.
Yes. So another question we can ask ourselves is that we have the death, the carnage, the motor vehicle accidents that we have on the road where people are dying. The extent, I know speeding have a lot to do with it, but then I am sure that part of the problem also has to do with the conditions of the roadways.
Well, I tell you, just sit down and think about the people when them car, the man right out of 2 miles.
So what exactly happened? What exactly happened there?
You have a patrol there, so you have to slow down for going there, And none of the road from downtown Kingston to 6 miles, none of the road is not good enough. But there's a patrol out there, so you have to slow down for going there. You understand? And everybody has to avoid the patrol. Because if you go down in a patrol, there's no problem. If you try to swing to the other side, the things that are way down, you have to know where you are. You understand? And people see what happens, but guess what? I'm so fast. Understand? The man, two of them would run back to one little place. You understand? So, no, we don't see if really so.
In other words, even the criminals understand how this works because everybody has to slow down this one. This is an area, so it become them workspace.
Yeah. So, we hear people talk about that same thing down in a Chilan over there too. So them a drive and because them still having a patrol to go through. Someone not careless. Grab them, take them have to walk from this police station. See, them patrol cause chaos in our country. And the government will sit down in a theme house and see him have to care for people. And now look on them little thing. And them little thing they just attract people to do move worse after a walk on.
Yeah, the struggle is real. The stress is real. The pressure on the people of Jamaica is real, and this is why mental health is a priority for us in Jamaica. With everything else that is happening globally, with everything else that is happening around us, we have a priority that coming from the pressure cooker situation that we are trying to thrive and to exist in here on the island.
Come like if we were turning at this country, we get joke. Understand?
My brother.
But lady,
but don't get despondent, because we are going to have to put. Our thing is to put ourselves in charge of ourselves, and
Yes,
we have to
that's
have
the
some
thing,
conversation with ourselves. We cannot go into depression. We have to kind of shift the paradigm and to be more, to be other, and to be more than what they are presenting to us. We literally have to check out at the system to be able to survive. Thank you, my brother.
I have to big up you and big up Muta Baruch and the whole staff of Irish and Lady Jody. I know who it is, so big and bless up, sir. And thanks for listening.
Give thanks, my brother. Give thanks.
Yeah.
All right, you're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running Africa, and it's 6 minutes going up to 10 o'clock. We have been taking, I know we've got other calls, but Mr. Biggie is just walking, and I really want to ask Biggie a question before I get to 10, because I know, Biggie, that you worked with Garth White, and we're talking about Garth White who died. We had a conversation with Jerry Small earlier, and
you want me to put my headphone on?
Yes. So I was mentioning to Jerry that, in the early days, the foundation stage of IRFM, in the early days when programs were being fleshed out and what it would have looked like and how it would have sound, and musically speaking, because my recollection is that musically speaking we didn't have it. I think it came 3 or 4 months into you want to grab the mic? About 3 or 4 months into the IRFM, is it?
Maybe a little longer.
Maybe a little longer.
Maybe as much as
a year. No, it's not a year. It's not a year. Probably 6 months.
It could be about a year. It could be
about a year.
It could be about a year.
All right, and I remember the conversations. I know that you, Clyde McKenzie, Bob Clark, you are integral in having that conversation about musically speaking, right?
Yes, especially myself and Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, being the program's manager at the time, helped to fashion it and endorsed it.
Mm-hmm.
But the hands-on, it was Clyde McKenzie and myself.
Yes.
I was the technical operator, co-host of Musically Speaking,
right.
And Clyde was the person who piloted the program.
Right.
And you could call Garth White the resident analyst.
There you go. Listen, Jerry, that's a word. The resident analyst, because I've been saying it all morning. The resident analyst. So he was in studio.
Yes, yes. And when we went off track, he would often correct us with a sense of teaching and not
guiding,
not boast.
Yes, guiding that process and doing it humbly.
Yeah, man. He was man. You know, that rhythm really started a little farther back than Coxsone. It was a hybrid of the ska, and that was just how he presented himself.
Yes.
I learned so much from Garth, and I was just wondering how a man so knowledgeable could have been so humble. Him just if you don't know him, you just don't know.
You don't know. I was just saying to Jerry this morning that Garth will be in the room. He's the most knowledgeable person in the room, and he's the most silent.
He is. He is.
So unless you say, Garth, what is your... Okay, so we could be arguing about anything, and then, so you're not hearing from Garth, him just listen, and you can see that he's actively listening, And then you might, when you realize, say, but this man's supposed to know all our way anyway, more than all of us anyway. So we say, well, Garth, what is your opinion? And then when he starts giving his opinion, it's like you just have to kind of say, everybody, you're listening to him.
You have to not shut up. You have to not shut up. You have to not shut up because he's going to tell you, no, but you see, and in that very same tone,
true.
But you see, you have to remember what was happening at the particular time, because the culture was in a paradigm shift.
Yes. Walter Rodney had just come in.
Yes, and Michael Manley had just ascended into power, and Eddie had dethroned him at this time,
and remember in the United at the time in the United States it was R&B, and him connect everything,
Yeah, man, he goes out of the box and then carries you right in the box.
Yes.
Right. He shows you how like they say, a fly on the wall in in Africa will affect the hurricane.
Oh, yes.
A hurricane in the Caribbean.
A butterfly flapping its wings in Africa causes hurricane.
In the Caribbean.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure you that's
yes.
something.
It goes right to that. It tells you exactly how that butterfly in Africa caused this.
The hurricane in that thing.
Yeah.
Man. It just connect the dots.
And then he knew like every single aspect of the music industry, the history, the genesis of it, the politics of it. And Jerry was talking about that. Well, he has so many strong points, but one of the things that he focused on was also this whole rude boy culture and the rude boy culture and the music and so on. He would always take you there. And my level of understanding of the rude boy culture, which Herbie Miller is the next person that I hear.
You got the essence that he was part of the rude boy culture. Yeah, the way he spoke about it. No, because you mentioned it.
Yes.
And you got the essence that he was so passionate about it. You said you are one of the rude boy.
Yes. Just like when you hear Herbie Miller talk about the rude boy culture, you want to ask Herbie, say, Herbie, tell me something.
That was how passionate he was about it.
Well, I'm just thinking about Garth White and to think that he is such an integral part to that knowledge system of the Jamaican.
For sure. My only regret is that he didn't write a book.
He did. Hold on.
He did?
Yes, he did. Two actually.
No, listen, I didn't know about this, and now I must get my hands on these books.
I asked Jerry this morning where we can find them, because in her statement, Minister of Culture, Olivia Babsy-Grange, in her statement on the passing of Garth, she says his publications include the development of Jamaican popular music with special reference to the music of Bob Marley, a bibliography, 1982, and traditional music practice in Jamaica and its influences on the birth of modern Jamaican popular music, 1982.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
No, those
even
two
the
books,
titles?
Those books have escaped me. I must go and search, and I'm happy for this. This is actually good news, and for anybody who follows the music and follows the culture, I believe that these are books that must be definitely on your must read list.
Yes, I made a list of it,
and I am definitely going to to find these books.
If you find them before me, let me know, because Jerry was saying
we can share them. But
yes, definitely.
And Jerry, morning, Sir Jerry.
Yes.
Morning, Uncle Jerry. And if you have those books in your collection, because I know the story with you and God. If you have them books then in your collection.
I have one, but so this morning me ask him, never say more give me none of them. I might lend them. I don't think Jerry man no lend book.
we technology this now, this is the different era now.
Different era.
If we can't find it, I'm going to certainly try to find it.
He was saying that it should be at the Institute of Jamaica, or maybe the library. No, maybe at least even, we'll find it, man, never mind. But did you know that he did, Jerry told me this morning that Garth had a song, Ghetto Tribulation. I played it this morning on the Black Council label thing. Yes.
Oh, well, no, I know he recorded it. I can't remember the song itself, but I know.
He recorded, okay.
I know he recorded.
Ghetto Tribulation, I played it earlier. Jerry, of course, it's God's brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, yes.
So big from those, as we wrap up and come out of this, from those days, reflecting on Garth White and who he was as a person, and to see where we are now in terms of even the way we media analyze and the kind of deep thinking that goes into entertainment program, because musically speaking kind of set a precedent which will lose long time.
Yes, probably one of the first, if not the first program that was dedicated to the music, of Jamaica. And that was indeed a trailblazing effort on Clyde Mackenzie's part, because he did defined the program and defined the station too.
Yes,
right? But he defined the programming, and then he went for some of the heavy hitters to cement the program, so to speak. And Garth White was, as I said, the resident analyst. He was here more often than not.
Yes.
And he provided really, really good information.
Garth was in studio. Maxine Stowe was on the line.
Yes.
Maxine Stowe.
And she made a couple of cameos too.
Yes. And she was weird.
She was with the lecturer, I think.
Who were you with one of them? Yeah.
Yeah, or Columbia, or one of them. Yes. One of those big labels.
So that was quite something. In those days when we began to have the discussions on the crossover situation that was happening, like with the Tony Rebel and Queen Latifah.
Yeah, the people who got signed to the major labels and that kind of thing. At that point in time, almost everybody was they were being scooped up. You know, Mad Cabra, Richie Stevens, Beres Hammond, Shabba Ranks.
Yeah, Patra.
A lot of the labels were being scooped up by the big labels at that time.
Yeah, I think we should revisit these kinds of programs. I think that musically speaking, at a time when everything was changing, that slower, more detailed discussion did not necessarily suit programming. But I think we have come full circle, where once again we need that kind of a that kind of discussion, that kind of a depth of discussion.
We have never
for music.
We have never been without it. You know, that is like medication. You know, if you
no, I meant much longer. Just
almost like
much longer.
If you stop take it, the disease will come back. You know?
Yeah,
it is a conversation that you have to have, like a supplement.
Yes.
That is what it. You know,
what was it? A 2-hour program? It was 2 hours,
yes,
you know?
Yes, yeah, man, it was. It
was 2 hours. So you could go deeper. If you
trash out anything musically, you can't be done in that way.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, that we need to bring back those kinds of programs. But I don't think...
You can't be trash out in that.
Is there any such program on radio anywhere now?
Certainly not in Jamaica.
Exactly, that's the
Certainly
point.
not in Jamaica. The music...
Oh, that's not to talk too loud, because we don't want nobody to take the idea of up. You never know, so we'll leave it. But yeah. But Bigay, boy, you know, condolences once again to God's family, sister, from all of us here at IRFM. We recognize and we know and remember and remember Garth White. I was saying earlier this morning that the foundation of IRFM was there.
He was there. Yeah. Sheer genius. And you know, as when I converse with persons, and I'm saying, you can go learn things anywhere, but you see, when you live it, it's a whole different experience.
Yes.
And Garth White was born at a time when he got the opportunity to live it.
Yes.
He understood his passion. He understood his mission. And indeed, he lived both.
And he did not betray it.
And he certainly did not betray it.
Wow. We remember Garth White. Thank you so much, Mr. Bigay. This is always saying goodbye for today. I know the calls were still holding, but I really had to have a conversation with Bigay, considering, understanding that close relationship between Bigay and Garth White, and along with Clyde McKenzie. As I said earlier, Clyde was the one who introduced me to Garth White, and he remained for us a resource person, somebody who guided the thinking and the process and the analysis where the music industry was concerned and entertainment. So my name is Kabu. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. And the Bigay is up next with this Sunday Sunshine.